with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Welcome. It is me. It is I. There is not a chorus of kazoos playing in my background. All is well on the Western Front. This is Grapsody. I feel Lindsey. And I am here with the big homie, Righteous Reg. What's going on with you, bro?
In the building, it's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. Excited that Phil did not bring in the flutes today, and it's going to be a regular podcast. It's Saturday morning. It's Grapsody Podcast. It's Media Man. I'm very excited to be here. I'm on location in San Francisco, California. So if you guys hear like thunder, rain, there's some protesting going on outside, some GTA noises, just ignore them. We're moving forward.
Yeah, it was quite an adventure. Funny enough, I ended up recording a lot of podcasts with a lot of issues with my laptops within 72 hours while I waited for some parts to replace it, because it ended up, I thought if I cleaned the fan out that it would work, but it did not work. I ended up having to completely replace this left fan because it just was completely faulty at this point.
I didn't know you could get down like that. You're a scientist on the computer part repair thing?
No, I figured it was the fan, and when it was still making noises after I cleaned it out, I just, did some research to figure out what it was and just replaced it.
Shout out to Phil Lindsey back in the building with the fan that works, and it's Grapsody Podcast. Oh, a lot going on this week. A lot going on every week at this point. It's been some, I've been kind of laying low because I've been dog sitting here in San Francisco. So not too much in the shenanigans online. Feels good, Phil. How about you? What's going on?
Yeah, a lot of wrestling I've watched this week. Not as stressful of a week, thankfully. Right. Yes. If you've been watching this YouTube channel, I've been somehow everywhere. Probably will be somewhere some more. We got a watch along tonight for Saturday night main event to go toward the bonuses for staff of this good YouTube channel. So tune into that tonight. I'm probably going to show my face at some point. I don't know how long I'll be on there though. I don't know how long I'll be on there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long I'll be on there, but I'll probably pop up at some point.
Yeah, shout out to Fightful for that stream tonight. If you want to have some fun with the Fightful staff and support the Fightful staff, definitely pull up to that stream. Saturday night's main event. It feels weird. It feels like a back in the day Saturday. Legit, I was catching up on some WWE Vault has uploaded some old episodes, and it's like, damn, I remember those days, man. Those are like some of the earliest memories I have of pro wrestling, honestly, just because it's on network television. It's people like your family would gather around to watch this, even if they didn't like wrestling. It's a pretty cool moment.
Yeah. Interesting. Speaking of which, tonight WWE will be going full retro, getting Saturday night main event. We're going to get into that card in a little bit. But you know the deal. If you want the best way to get your chats read online, send us your super chats, and you can also send us humper chats via humperchats.com/Fightful.
Phil Lindsey, what's the worst news of the week, do you think? And does it happen to do with a legendary rap artist, one of the greatest of all times? Is it just me or is it everybody?
I still don't know what to make of that, man. I kind of don't want to comment too much on it without all the information, because some of it seems a little bit off. I don't know what to make of some of what we've seen. But of course, we're just talking about Jay-Z is now being named as a defendant in a lawsuit against Sean Puff Diddy Combs, where there are some pretty serious allegations in there. Alleged graping of a minor. Again, I don't know what to make of it.
Serious allegations.
Adding him to it at this point and some of the stuff around it is kind of weird. Like I said, the stuff with the lawyer, Ho's statement about it. And then that thing came out last night where the plaintiff or the victim, alleged victim, said that she realized that some of her story didn't add up and she was taking some of it back. And then her lawyer was like, oh, well, we're going to try and get this together, but we're still on that this actually happened. He did this. I'm like, oh, no, man, I don't know what to make of this, man. I don't want to, say too much, but it just looks weird because, we've had situations like this before where I'm like, this looks sketch. And then we get some more information. It's like, oh, yeah, it looks like he did this. But for now, I'm just waiting to see more because a lot of this looks kind of weird.
It's a very touchy, the touchiest of situations here, dealing with what the situation is and people involved and they ain't got to release names and all these kind of crazy things.
Yeah.
It's when people come and retract statements, I'm not immediately like, oh, this person was lying, because it could be a whole bunch of things. Like on his side, they could be applying pressure and being like, hey, maybe you did it. Like there's just so many factors that are involved to immediately jump to this person's wrong, this person's right, this person's anything. Just like you're saying, Phil, it's like so early and all this stuff, it's kind of hard to comment on everything. It's just so unfortunate that I'm just like, it's Hove. I hate that he's involved in any of this at all, good or bad, just because it's like we've been celebrating hip hop so often on this podcast, Phil. Every week we come in like talking about great releases, talking about all these things, and like I don't want this to be the way we end the year,
Yeah. The other part about it is ever since Puff got jammed up, everybody has been like looking Ho's way, like, oh, he must have done something because he's been around this dude, he's been around a bunch of other sketchy dudes. And so maybe he's got some dirt on him too. I don't know. He's got some skeletons in the closet. I would not doubt that he does, but something about this just feels weird. I don't know quite what yet. That's why I've been kind of like, I don't know, guys. Maybe we need to hold on a second before we jump to conclusions or start throwing baby out with the bathwater. I don't know.
The conclusions have been jumped to for a lot of people.
People were ready. That's what I'm saying. The Hove and Diddy relationship already made people like, oh, he did it. It was him.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. Something about it. Again, he could be guilty and he could be not. I don't know. I just very messy. I hope for his sake that his statement is not him just trying to cover his ass, because it looks crazy. Like there's stuff in that statement that sound crazy. So, yeesh.
It's just unfortunate, man. I hope that everybody in these situations get justice, and I hope that things are okay. It seems pretty not that great coming out of it. People are coming to conclusions, like I said, jumping out there. 50 Cent has some reason been on a press tour and everybody gets him. And I'm like, why does 50 go on a press tour every time something like this happens? Is there new power? But like, why is he outside? They always seem to get his comment for some reason.
I hope that nothing ever comes out about him, because he has like gotten his kicks in, kicking everybody else's back in when something comes out about them. So if something ever comes out about him, man, he's gonna look so bad. So I hope, because this has happened enough where somebody's been over cackling at somebody else's downfall, and then when it's your turn, because buddy, it is always somebody's turn. You gotta be careful with these things, man. You gotta be careful, bro.
You could be next. That's crazy, dog. And they said this is the beginning, because the Puff thing is like hasn't even really started. They're still gathering information. They're still like building this case. There's so much more built and deep into this. Did you happen to? I didn't see it in full. Did you watch any of the Jamie Foxx special that came out?
I didn't. I saw some of the quotes from it. Glad that Jamie is still with us. Some of the stuff he was saying from the quotes I read were pretty grisly. I mean, when you hear like internal bleeding and that led to the stroke, and he could have easily not pulled out of it. That sounds very, very serious. A stroke, of course, is serious. When is a stroke not serious? But the things that led to the stroke, I was like, oh, wow, that sounds scary. And he talked about being in a hospital, and he seemingly confirmed what a lot of people think. When people are in a coma or they're under, they can hear what's going on around them in a hospital. And yeah, a lot of it sounds really, really sad. The stuff with he was saying with his daughter, that she came in and calmed him down and played guitar for him, and that helped save his life. A lot to take from it. I do want to watch the whole thing, but the quotes I saw, it was a lot to take in, a lot to process.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't watched it yet because I'm like, I need to get in a space to absorb all of this, because all the clips that I've seen seem like a lot. He addressed everybody thinking that he's a clone. I'm like, the internet and the world is so funny, because like you can start a rumor and now in the world it's gonna come back to you. It's not gonna be you start a rumor and then it's gone and nobody addresses it. Like, you could get your rumor addressed on a Netflix special by one of the biggest artists in the world at this point.
We're crazy time for internet. Man, we just saw one new co-host for Raw Post Show, Ibu. Triple H, I guess, saw one of his tweets or something, and he was responding on a podcast. I said, wait, this is wild times we're in, man. People,
what happened? I missed this.
I don't know the specific tweet, but you know what it is. People turning this into, oh, everybody's got the scoop. Everybody knows the politics backstage, and nobody really knows anything. And you know how it goes.
I hate this life. I hate this. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm out. Get me out of it.
Yeah, that's why I think all the time I am very careful about certain things that I say that I may or may not know, because, buddy, I don't want no parts of that. Leave me out of it.
Leave me all the way out of it. Because as soon as you start talking, then people start putting stuff on you. I see some people talking crazy about you, but like on Reddit and these different places, they be talking spicy, and I'm all, just because he like gives up information or moves how he does, like, I don't know. I can't.
When you put your name on it, when you put your name on some information, you're always going to have to deal with some of the backlash that comes out when you put out information. And that's why sometimes I just be like, yep, nope, I don't want to know. I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm over here.
My name is off of it. I wasn't involved. I don't know you, and I don't know them.
Yeah, remember that time we just corrected that Meltzer thing? It was like, oh no, I heard the opposite, and people were like, no, those Grapsody guys. I'm like, no, I just corrected something with a source that we got, and so listen. I like Big Melts as much as the rest of us. Alvarez, like, I got no problem. I don't want no smoke, man. Leave me out of it.
Zero smoke. Anytime I hear those Grapsody guys, Phil, and we were just talking regular on the podcast, I'm like, nah, dog, that wasn't. No, just
leave me out of it. Or when I was pretty much adamant all the way up to Survivor Series, now I don't think we're gonna see Punk, and then people like, aha, you were wrong, and then I got on the next podcast and was like, hey guys, I was wrong. Hey, listen, sometimes I get these things wrong. By the way, there's specific reasons why I said I didn't think he was going to show up. I wasn't wrong about those things. I just couldn't tell you everything that I knew at the time. I never said that I didn't think he was going to come back, by the way. I just didn't think it was a Survivor Series.
Again, on the same lines of the things you've been talking about, you can't give up all the information. It's not your place to be out here like, this is why, and this is why, and this is why. And
how did you know that
at this time? Right, exactly. Because that's the first thing they're gonna ask.
How did you know that? Or why is this guy a credible source? I see things that I know are true sometimes that people report, and they'll be like, oh, you can't trust this guy. And I'm like, well, it might be onto something. No. might have some facts that you guys aren't ready to hear yet.
Might be onto something is the funniest shit.
might have connected some dots.
Dog. Yeah, it's a slippery slope out there. Like, when you're that. I did one scoop one time about Vicky Guerrero just because I had like heard some shit through the grapevine, and they were like, I was like, you know what? I don't even like scoops anymore. I'm out. I'm done. This is over. Like, I just like, what is it gonna feel like? And then I saw what it felt like, and I was like, I'm out. I'm all the way out.
Yeah, I saw both of you guys as I saw both of you guys deal with this, and I was like, this is why I be like, nope. Nope, I don't know nothing. I see Will do it when he was on this show as well. When his name was on certain things, I was like, nope, I don't want no part of that.
Because people be, and it don't just be fans that be on your ass. There be people on your ass like, hey, what's up? How you heard that? And I'm like, how I heard what?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Where you hear that from? Where I hear what from? I hear nothing. I can't even hear no more. I'm deaf. What we gonna do?
Christmas holiday is quickly approaching. It's crazy to think about. Christmas is less than 2 weeks away. Every year when we hit Thanksgiving and that weekend, it feels like the rest of the year just flies by. It's just next thing you know, it's like December 23rd or whatever, and it's like, all right, well, it's only a week left. But yeah, it is less than 3 weeks at this point left in the year 2024.
Yeah, those like you said, the weeks after Thanksgiving have been the fastest weeks of all time. I feel like it's Wednesday, it's Thursday, like it's just going by so quickly. No events are being attached to this, but there's so much going on. But life is just moving through so quickly. Christmas is coming. I see it. There's Christmas lights. I'm in San Francisco pretty often, so there's people here on vacation. Like I see it outside, but it just doesn't feel like it. I guess because there's this like looming doom happening in January, and like I'm just like, I don't care. I can't care about no Christmas, dude. Like it's fucked up outside, and so it doesn't feel like the holidays to me. It just feels like, let me hide from all this crazy shit. And still, Phil, every time last night, Roman Reigns is talking about it. On January 6th, the tribal chief or tribal chief. Every time I hear January 6th, I'm like, dog, what?
You mean during his little Dawson Creek vignette that he had, where he was standing next to the lake and Paulie was standing behind him with the prayer hands? I thought at some point the Dawson music was gonna come on. Do, 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 do. He's gonna be out there standing on the boat.
I don't want to wait for our life. He doesn't want to wait for his life to be over. He needs that match with Solo right now. But yeah, every time I say January 6th, Phil, I cannot get over. I'm like, they couldn't have picked a different date. This is crazy. And they're hyping it. It's going to be a big show.
It's a lot going on that show. It's a lot of big announcements, which we got the report that that could be where Rollins versus Punk is happening, buddy. My agenda is feeling much more like it's potentially happening, because I keep thinking like, why would they do that match sooner than it seemed like they were going to do it? Because we all thought that Punk versus Rollins was going to be the WrestleMania match. If they're planning on starting the year by already getting to it, why would they be trying to get that out of the way? Almost like Rollins could have another opponent.
Yep, almost like one of these guys in this match is probably going to win the Royal Rumble.
Maybe. I mean, even if he don't win the Rumble, he will be champion. That's happening. He will be champion soon.
I'm just thinking,
come back and clip this part and say that I said this one, because I think that I'm pretty much right about this. He will be champion. I do think it's coming.
I'm with you. I'm all the way with you. I'm trying to think of like, because who else would they have win the Rumble to get, like, if they have Roman win, that just sounds insane, but I could see them do that. But I think the best way to get there would have Punk win it, right? Have him do the WrestleMania point and everything. Like, we're getting to it, right?
I don't know. Maybe he's not going to win the Rumble. Maybe he's going to use that favor that he's got in his back pocket.
Favor for a favor. But yeah, CM Punk is your world champion very soon. So everybody just prepare for your angriness.
Yeah.
They about to be so mad, Phil.
I thought that vignette was also very funny, man, because he's like going through all this stuff he lost. Yeah, we were running this thing at one point. I lost my championship. I lost my bloodline. I lost my advisor, my wise man. I lost my Ulafala. And I was like, Roman, you lost all of those things because you were a bad guy. We're not supposed to feel sympathy for you. You lost all of those things because you were doing terrible things as champion. Why are you talking now?
Did this.
Yeah. He's got the sad music playing behind him. I'm like, no, you deserved all of this.
It's classic, that type of like, it's like Dexter or like the homie from Breaking Bad. It's like, no, it's like, after I've lost everything, it's like, damn, I'm down bad. Like, y'all don't feel bad for me? Like, no, we don't feel bad for you, dog. You did this to yourself.
No, we don't, bro. This was a long time coming. We had to deal with your reign of terror of you cheating to win matches for a whole 3 years.
Dog, we came on our podcast every Saturday yelling about your shenanigans and you doing that. Remember, he did the same bit for like a year straight in every one of his matches, and we were so angry. And you were cheating every week, and now you're by the lake crying with nah, dog. You can't. It's not that easy. I don't think it's that easy.
Nah, dog. No, but yeah, that is seemingly led us to the build for Roman versus Solo at this Netflix debut. Good. I'm glad they're getting that out the way. That does not feel like a pay-per-view match. So
Facts.
Yeah, knock it out. Knock it out on Netflix. I think loading that Netflix show with big matches, it seems like that's going to be where the finals for the IC tournament is going to be as well. So great.
Yeah, pretty fun for Netflix. It's pretty fun for LA, Los Angeles. I think it's gonna be, they're gonna load it up. We'll see like Cena. We'll see like you're gonna see everything you want to see in this show. So definitely pull up if you don't, and be there live to watch it. It's Netflix, so everybody's gonna have a big interest in how they move forward. People are like, are they going to be cussing? Is it going to be titties? And is it going to be all? It's like, no, I don't think they're going to switch the whole format and go back to the Attitude Era.
No, they still want to get children to watch this. They still want money. They still have endorsements. This is still them doing a family show. No, it's not. I think people that think this is going to turn into PG-13 wrestling, it's not going to happen.
No.
They enjoy a lot of money they make. That's not happening.
Well, you think they want to start making less money when they're going to be even in front of even more eyes, and it's going to be even more accessible for kids? You think they're going to start going TV MA for that? No, absolutely not. They're going to start going more, leaning into sponsors, leaning into more stuff like this because they have a bigger platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be interesting. I'm excited. Same thing for AEW. They're starting their simulcast with Max. I'm so happy that we're going to streaming it up.
Baby.
Core cutters are up finally 1 million points, and I don't have to go for my nefarious ways to access these television shows.
Yeah. Glad that I don't have to have multiple streaming platforms to watch a bunch of these things now. It seems like now you can watch both of these things here, and they had taken Raw for Hulu, which my beloved day after Hulu, where I didn't have to watch the entire show. They took it away. So yeah, unfortunately, when it's simulcasting, I will be back to watching the entire 3 hours because I do think we're gonna get 3-hour Raw again.
Facts, huge facts. Starting on January 6th, it's going to be 3-hour Raws. It's going to be action packed. They're going to load it up. Like, they could relax now. I'm actually super interested to see how they move with the 3 hours. Like, there's still going to be commercials. Also a thing, people being like, is it going to be commercial free? Absolutely not. This is ads. It's going to be ads on ads. It's going to be time to get that money. I think about how they were moving on Peacock, and I'm like, that's exactly how it's going to be. Like, depending on how you're tiered is depending on how you gave these ads, and it's still going to be a lot.
Yeah. Which reminds me, Saturday night main event will be on NBC tonight. But they're basketball games. They're basketball games that I want to watch. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to be able to watch them now, because I'm going to have another screen up because the NBA Cup games are tonight.
Yeah. What platform is that on? That's on is that streaming anywhere? I need to watch that.
I think the first game is going to be on TNT, and then I think the other game is going to be on ABC. I think Houston Golden State is the TNT game, and then I think I might have it backwards. But yeah, they're on those two channels. I just mix it up which game is where, which I have a phone where you can find these things, so I don't have to guess. I don't know why I'm doing that. And I did have it back.
TV on tonight.
I did have that backwards. Atlanta Hawks will be playing the Milwaukee Bucks on TNT, and the Western Conference game, OKC versus Houston, that will be on ABC. I had it backwards as well, the opponents, because Houston Rockets did pick up a win over the Golden State Warriors after that terrible call the other night. Yeah. But I predicted the Houston Rockets are going to win. Young upstarts with a good coach. Really like that team. I think OKC is going to beat them, but I'd be happy with it either way. I do like the Houston Rockets. Very much surprised that the New York Knicks turned into the New York Knicks against Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young, again, being the biggest heel in the world, turns into HBK in Canada when he goes to the Garden. Him out there rolling the dice on the logo. Great stuff. Love that kind of carrying on. So I think this is all great. But I do think Milwaukee is going to probably beat Atlanta tonight. At least I would think so.
They should, but crazier things have happened. Sometimes Milwaukee doesn't show up or they have like weird energy or something, but I hope that today is not that day. Yeah, they set off Trae Young in New York, and every time he harnesses the energy of them New Yorkers hating his guts, it somehow works out for him. Maybe they should change the strategy, because the louder they boo, the harder he goes.
Yeah, 2024, the year of hate. This guy, he walked into the Garden and he felt good, man. I seen his comments after the game. I said, yeah, that's a guy. He knows exactly what he's doing every time he does it.
It works out for him. Tell you, he harnesses that energy into hate, and he turns up and he turns off. Yeah, it's exciting though. These, I'm still upset about the Warriors, but having new young teams kind of go in there to make things happen are exciting. But I want my team to be in there.
Yeah, it looked like the Warriors were going to pick up that win. Houston Rockets got that call at the end, and it was a really good game up to that point. So when that call happened, I said, "Oh no, come on!" But it's what it is. Milwaukee Bucks just squeaked by the Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic, you cannot keep this team down for some reason. They lost Banchero early in the season. I was like, "Well, that's it for that." They looked very good, and then all of a sudden, Franz Wagner turned into that dude. Franz came out there and was balling, and then Franz unfortunately got injured as well. He's going to be out indefinitely. And they came out and won the next game. They almost beat Milwaukee the other night, but Dame turned into Dame in that game in the last few minutes. And
See,
it's not much you can do. Dame time is still Dame time when he's ready to do that.
Yeah, when that clock is working, when that watch is on, then Dame time is going off. That's what I kind of feel like tonight. Like you could get that. Like it's always that potential sitting there of like Milwaukee could be the ones to ruin your life. But then also they could like their chemistry will sometimes be off, or like they had a bad practice, or like you can like feel the energy of this team that's supposed to be dominating not being there. But I hope tonight is not that case.
Yeah, I have laughed at all of these teams that kind of know they're probably not going to win a championship. And so they've been really pushing to go to the NBA Cup. This is it. Like the Warriors were saying, like, I really wanted to go to Vegas. And, yeah, you guys probably aren't going to win a championship this year. So the Cup was probably your best option. Salty LeBron going, these tournaments don't mean anything anyway. It meant something last year when you won it, but now it don't mean nothing. Okay, cool. I didn't want it no way. Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, they got that trophy, man. Everybody be in the NBA Cup.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah,
just Vegas. I've been to Vegas before.
I've been to Vegas, man. I don't need to go back to Vegas, man. Y'all going back to Vegas to do that, to do some tournaments? I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to go turn up somewhere. I ain't trying to do that. But yeah, Giannis also was. Giannis was also saying he really wanted to prove himself, go to Vegas. This also feels like Milwaukee's best chance to win something this season, because I don't see them winning a championship. But they do have a good chance if they can make it past Atlanta with the matchup. They got a very young Houston team and still a very young OKC team. Personally, my pick to win the whole thing is OKC. Currently have the best record. No, they don't have the best record. Sorry. Cleveland Cavaliers have the best record, but they have one of the best records in the league, and I think OKC is going to come away with this win.
That's pretty exciting. They're a young, hungry, just go hard ass team. So I'm excited to see that. Definitely going to try to check those games out tonight. There's a lot of exciting action happening tonight on TV. So I'm going to have like 3 or 4 screens, phone, TV, computer. Like, it'll be one of those nights. I'm excited. Yeah, should we get into a couple of super chats and humper chats?
Yeah, as always, if you are tired of listening to us talk about everything but wrestling, and you want to tell us to talk about wrestling, get to what we're here for, send us your super chats or send us your humper chats via humperchats.com/Fightful.
Oh, it doesn't let me click on them because I'm not logged in.
Oh no. Oh, I can.
Yeah, I can see them, but I can't click on them.
Yeah, shame.
Shame.
See, we got one from T-Raf. He says, listen to the Rock Marcy album at least 20 times since it dropped. Still got to hear Snoop and Dre too. I have not heard this Dre and Snoop album. Have you heard it yet?
I watched Snoop did an interview with Cameron, and it's on YouTube. And Cameron's just like interviewing him, asking him about like his most famous moments. But throughout the interview, they're playing songs from the album, and like there's one song where Snoop and Dre are going back to back rapping. That sounds crazy. I haven't heard the whole thing in full, but I heard the songs on there, and I was like, "Hey, yo, these guys they're doing something dope." But yeah, I spent my time yesterday listening to Rock Marcy, and Alchemist dropped a new one. And like, you guys, I need time in my life. You guys just can't keep putting out these great hip hop albums. Boldy just put out one. Rock's putting out one. Anytime anybody gets with Alchemist, I have to listen to that album first. It's fire. It's Rock being Rock over some classic Alchemist. Like, what more could you want? But yeah, I'm gonna definitely get into the Snoop and Dre this weekend though, because it sounds like Snoop is rapping like it's 1993. It's exciting.
Yeah, I definitely want to check out that Rock Marcy album for sure. Always want to check out Boldy. Boldy is one of the most consistent rappers out there in terms of the content he drops out. So definitely want to check those two albums out. And I'll check the Snoop album out. I'm not sure what to make of a Snoop and Dre album in 2024, but we'll see. We'll see what this is talking about. We got one for Van Twin Blade as well. He says, put on the glasses, pop, pop. Yeah, I'm assuming people are talking about your E40 glasses that you had on at one point.
40 waters. Those are E40 glasses. That's hella funny. Yeah, shout out to the OG E40. Those are my potential Black Santa glasses. I got to get the suit still. We got a couple more days. I can still make it happen. Shout out to Van Twin Blade. Shout out to all the homies.
From Leron 40 says, Phil, that Raw review on Monday with SP3 was crazy. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed an edition of Mocha Monday turned by SP3.
Wow.
That was I don't know if there'll be a first and last edition of that, but it was fun to link up with the homie SP3. We're supposed to have Iridian on, but Iridian had work, so your boys led the ship. But I'm assuming Sean Ross Sapp and Ibu will be back this Monday.
Yeah, shout out to the homie SP3. It's been too long since we potted. We got to get back together, brother.
He was saying that on the post show that it's been too long, even though I've recorded like 2 or 3 things with him within the last week.
Feel busy this holiday season. I guess I'm pretty busy too. Shout out to the homegirl Denise Salcedo. We're doing a lot. If you need to check some content out this week, she put up a bunch of videos. We did guess the AEW entrance with Mikey Ruckus, the music supervisor over at AEW. Super fun game we had played. So if you want to check that out, definitely go to Denise's page.
Yeah, I think we got something coming up with Denise.
We do. We still going.
Yeah, shout out to Denise. I was looking, appreciate people that bought some merch, and I was like, wait a minute, that email looks familiar. Wait a minute, that name looks familiar. So shout out to Denise. Yeah, if you guys have not checked out our merch, grapsody.bigcartel.com. You can buy a hat like this one I have on right here. You can buy a matching hoodie. Our first hats that we dropped are also still up there. Can still get the joint we wore to Starcast. That's also on there. Yeah, but it's funny because when I first started the store, I was like, hey, this is kind of just a place for me to put things that I have this idea. Let's do this. And so when people are like, hey, I really like this, I'm like, hey, cool. I didn't expect this to be like a thing. It was just like, oh, here's some stuff that I thought up. Like,
it's legit. It's like that. Phil is like, I think this is dope. I was thinking of this idea and like, it's essentially like, where can I put this? And not like I want people to buy this. He's just like, I have this idea and I kind of want to execute it. And then people are like, no, this shit is fire though, Phil. And Phil's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I knew I wanted to do something for our 3-year anniversary, and that was kind of where the idea for the hat and the hoodie came from. And I think I explained this on Ask Grapsody that, of course, big anime fan. The poster for Akira has like the text and it has the Japanese script on top of it. So I was like, I want to do something like that with our logo. And that's how I came up with the idea for the hoodie that we currently have out. Very comfortable hoodies. If you have not, very comfortable, multiple colors. But that's also how I came up with that idea for that. Very comfortable as well. Everybody that's supported and bought one of these things, that I just kind of was like, oh, this kind of seems like a cool idea. Appreciate you. Because again, this was just kind of like, hey, I just want to do something fun and put out merch for you guys.
Yeah, appreciate everybody that's been supporting. Like you said, seeing our merch on people that's not us it'll never not be cool. So shout out to y'all.
We got one from Grapple Geekery. He says, I'm about to head to Raleigh, North Carolina to watch Mustafa Ali and Trevor Lee tear it up. Glad to see Toni back. Not so sure about last night's TNA return, though. I forgot about that. We did have that news
too.
coming out of Friday night TNA pay-per-view on TNA Plus. Tessa Blanchard is back. Tessa Blanchard never really left wrestling. She's been doing CMLL. She's been doing some other things, but she is back with TNA. I don't know.
Yeah, yesterday it was the news had leaked, I guess, and the internet was reacting, and so they were like, "Oh yeah, Tessa Blanchard's in talks to get back to TNA." Not surprised, Phil, if I'm keeping it 100%. Like, that wasn't the surprising thing about it at all. It's like, yeah, I figured she'd eventually get back around there. They were just kind of like waited out. When I would watch her on CMLL, when she'd be involved in a match with people that I actually want to see, the way that she was like a baby face in the promotion and the way that she was moving, I was like, oh, she's definitely going to be back in TNA very soon. So there was some mixed reviews of people reacting to the news yesterday. There were some people that were happy. There were some people that were upset. There were some people that were in between. And so it's like, we know the situation. Somebody released an article, maybe PW Insider, one of them. No, it's Cultaholic. And they were like, oh yeah, Tessa Blanchard, she got released from TNA because she didn't send some promotional material about this pay-per-view. And I was like, is that what happened?
Yeah. Her exit from TNA was also very strange. If you remember that whole situation, Tessa's contract was up. Funny enough, it was up June 30th on my birthday. So I'll never forget this. Her contract was up June 30th, but their biggest pay-per-view of the year was coming up right after that. And she was currently the world champion. So she was set to defend her belt at that show. But for whatever reason, TNA had not sorted out her contract situation. Her contract expired. And so she was looking around like, I don't have to do this pay-per-view. I'm not on contract. I don't have to do promotion for this. I don't have to do anything. I'm not a signed wrestler anymore. And so that led to a big fallout between her and the company. She ended up having to send her belt back. They changed her match to a fatal 4-way for the vacant belt. And she was pretty much done with TNA from then on. I think she may have expected to be this big, massive free agent at that point, but she was still dealing with the backlash of a lot of things that came out about her when she won the TNA World Champion, then Impact World Championship. And I think that that's still the thing because
Yep, I got you.
So nobody's questioning her ability, of course. Tessa is a very good wrestler. That was the case before. I mean, you don't just put the world championship on a woman that cannot carry the flag for your company. Very talented wrestler.
Without the controversy and that hitting at that time, she'd be like 5, 6, 7 time either WWE or AEW Women's World Champion right now if it wasn't for that controversy. Like, no doubt about it.
Exactly. She was on the card for All In. There's a very good chance she could have ended up at AEW. Also a part of the Mae Young Classic. Very good chance she could have ended up on NXT. But all of this backstage stuff, whether it be the story with La Rosa Negra, which did not sound great. Some accusations of her using a racial slur and spitting on her. And then also the accusations of her bullying several women in the locker room came forward right before she won the world championship. And if you remember, that came from her putting out that tweet of support women and maybe something good could happen, and people's like, I know you lying, man. I know you ain't saying that.
I remember the homie Allison K was like
on her neck. You?
Allison K had her up against the wall, big brother.
Yeah. So yeah, with all of that stuff, without people thinking that you're gonna have to take on backlash if you bring her in, she probably would have been signed somewhere else. But like you, I pretty much figured it was only a matter of time before she ended up somewhere. They tried to do it with WoW, and that failed miserably with that whole nuclear heat thing, which was a terrible, terrible idea. I've been saying since all of this stuff came out with her, and since she handled it very poorly, in my opinion, you could have just apologized and you could have just reformed this, because she still was very young at that point, and she's still very young. Yep. She's only 29 years old, not even 30 yet.
Yeah.
So
she got time.
You know, we get into this every time she pops back up, and people say, "Don't people deserve a second chance?" Yes. But a second chance is earned. You have to work towards getting that. And I think for some people, she hasn't done the work to earn what people believe should be their second chance for her. Now, I do think, funny enough, going to TNA was probably the best move for her, because TNA is small enough where they can take some of the backlash of bringing her back. I don't think that WWE or AEW wants to possibly open that can of worms, especially AEW right now with a lot of the other negative press they've got. I have to believe that if they thought that they could mend this and do like a repackaging of her, they would have done it a long time ago. They had Tully over there. You could have done something with her a long time ago. I think clearly there is a fear of outrage of signing her from these companies. It's it's not a fear of can she come here and be productive. It's not a fear of can she wrestle, because she can. It's just, I don't want the baggage that she's bringing with her.
Right, exactly. As soon as you sign her, we see, like you said with WoW, immediately people were like, no, going crazy. TNA has such a legacy, and they've done crazy, nefarious things before, that they could take this and they can like spin it and kind of absorb it and try to flip it into something. It kind of feels like when Hogan comes back and people are like, well, can't people get better and forget? I'm like, but they haven't shown us at all that they've changed or that they're better. Tessa hasn't shown us at all that she's remorseful or feels like anything. Like, it's just like she went to Mexico for like 3 years and just like made us forget about it. But no, a lot of us didn't forget about it. People don't forget. It's like you can, somebody yesterday was like, oh, well, La Rosa forgave her, why can't you? And it's like, that's not how this works though. Like, she offended a community, a lot of people, and like, we remember that, and you can't just be like, oh, okay, I'm back, everything's fine, I went to do some lucha in Mexico. Like, that's not how it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen some people in our chat saying that as well, that she did apologize to La Rosa. They did make amends. There's pictures out there of them together. I just think it was one of those things where she should have done that sooner. And I think that she made some poor decisions with the way she responded to the backlash. Another thing is, it's not just the incident with La Rosa. There were so many other things being said that she did in terms of bullying. And I don't think that she ever addressed those things properly. And so I think this is going to be one of those things, no matter what she does, no matter how well she wrestles for TNA or what she does, she's going to have to deal with this before people allow her to move forward. Now, all of this aside, the idea of her having these kind of allegations on her name of using a racial slur against a black woman, and then showing up last night and some up tempos and a shiesty, I was dying. I was dying, man.
Shiesty, she had the puffer on. I'm like, dog, what? Hold on, what is this?
All she was missing was they could have just put on a Nas Thief theme when she came out, man.
1, 2, check 1, 2. She put the mask on while she was coming down. Yeah, like, where'd you get this fit at? Like, I've seen this fit in Oakland, California, and when I see that fit, I turn around and walk the other way, dog. Like, what? The fact that you got these allegations and you're pulling up in that killed me.
You've definitely seen that fit during Christmas time, because as my grandfather used to tell me, listen, there's some people out there that don't have Christmas. And if they don't have Christmas, they try to take your Christmas.
Dog. Robin season, dog. Robin season. I'm walking to the other side of the street. You're not about to catch me, young man. And them young men do not care about nothing. They're like, oh, this guy has something. I'm taking it. You know what I mean? That's the life. So for Tessa to pull up like that. So
nah. Tessa pulled up. Nah, play me at night. They won't act right. There's so many things that was funny about it. Just watching that clip of her like getting the beat down in with Jordan, and then like she's like almost like seductively opening the jacket, and then she pulls off the shiesty. I was like, yo, what's happening right now? And like you said, she's got a Pippins.
But check it out. This is kind of the thing, though, kind of what we're talking about, Phil, or what we're talking about. There is a community of us that kind of feel like there's some work to be done, but there's also a community that don't even remember that and don't care about that. I feel like the fans that reacted in the TNA show weren't reacting to her allegations. They were like, oh, this is a person that's being a heel and we're booing them, you know?
Also correct, because as you said to start this show, we've got a looming thing. Listen, if racism isn't a deal breaker for a guy going to the White House, why is it a deal breaker for somebody that wants to wrestle? Why are you guys surprised that she was just allowed back in wrestling? Hogan has been allowed back in wrestling. There are multiple people that are not great people that have been allowed back in wrestling. I was not shocked by this at all.
It's like wrestling is built upon this. Like, of course she's back. And of course she's like, she's just like, I'm back. What do you want from me? And it's so funny at this day and age, Phil, if she just came on and did a 2-minute fucking selfie video where she was like, you know what? I was down bad. I apologize. Like, I'm moving forward. I'm doing things to move forward. Shit would be forgiven like so fast by a lot of people. And she didn't even do that.
That's what I keep thinking. Because again, she is still very young. When this happened, she was still very young. You could come out and say, listen, I handled things poorly. I was getting some bad advice. I want to do better. I want to earn a second chance. I want to make amends to the people that I upset and move forward with my career. I've earned a chance. This is something I've worked my entire life to do. I've earned a chance to do this. And I know it's going to take some time, but I am willing to earn people's trust back. That's it. Yeah. Listen, go out there and film the same thing with Roman, get in front of the same lake, get like the sun coming down, get you some melodramatic music to play over it. People are willing to give you a chance, man. You just gotta let people know that I've changed and that I am taking accountability for the things that people are accusing me of.
And that's why, and people are probably going to be like, oh, these two black guys are talking about the racism. No, we're not talking about just that situation. Like in this reports yesterday, they were saying Jordan Grace was having pushback. There's women in these locker rooms that were in locker rooms with her that still feel a type of way, that probably haven't been apologized to, that probably still feel like she's going to come and bully us or she's going to come and do something. And so it's bigger than just this one situation. There's a couple situations that she needs to rectify.
Yeah. Again, the part of me that just wants to make jokes and laugh about things. When I saw that Jordan quote, I died. I was like, oh, no, Jordan was like, man, I'm on my way out of here probably. Y'all want me to lose to her on the way out? Bro, get me up out of here. What are we talking about, man? Y'all trying to bring Tessa back? Get me out of here, man.
Jordan's like, what is my Royal Rumble number, dog? I got to get out of here. Y'all are playing over here.
Y'all can't get me to Indianapolis any sooner, man. Get me up out of here. Y'all are playing.
So, like, on my way, let me get this straight. On my way out, you want me to put over whom?
Yeah. But that's the other thing that makes this funny as well. Unintentionally funny. You're coming out of this. There are reports that you're going to lose Speedball Mike Bailey. There are some reports now that Josh Alexander is a free agent coming into 2025. Jordan Grace, notably a free agent, possibly heading to WWE or NXT. And this is your way of addressing that by bringing in Tessa Blanchard?
I'm sorry, TNA. That's crazy. They're like, we're losing some heavy hitters. Let's cause some controversy. I mean, controversy creates cash. Some one terrible wrestling promoter dude used to say,
Optics look crazy though. These optics look very crazy.
Do you think that they slot her? Do you think she eventually works back to that slot that she was of like becoming becoming TNA world champion? Or do you think is that a possibility at this point?
No, I don't see it, but I do see with the TNA Knockouts division where it is, you've got Masha, and you need somebody for Masha to work. You need some wrestlers that you can make a big part of that division. I think she'll fit well over there because, again, this isn't about her ability. She can work, and the matches with the Mashas of the world, and I think even a Jordan match, those matches will probably be very good, but it's just going to have that sour taste around it that a lot of people are not going to be able to get past.
But like Phil said, the parts that are funny are really, really funny.
Very, very, very funny, man. Nah, I wish that was one of those fly on the wall things. Me looking down at my phone and seeing her come out with that bubble goose in a shiesty. I was like, nah, come on.
The first thing I saw was the up tempos. I was like, this is crazy, you guys. This is wild. I can't believe we've gotten here. What a life, man. Wrestling in 2025 is about to be fucking nuts, Phil.
Yeah, there's other things that are also funny, but the Fightful Select report that came out about it basically said that a lot of the people that would be in the know of her coming in, they didn't know until last minute. Jordan was told at the last minute. A lot of people that would need to know that were a part of working with her did not know, and they were not happy. Which tells me right away, if that's true, bringing this woman in is not going to be just controversial to the fan base. It's going to be controversial to your locker room. So, and man, look, I should also say this. There are a lot of people that very much want to work with Tessa Blanchard. We see certain people from AEW and WWE that still very much want to work with her. So I don't want to make it seem like she's just somebody that nobody wants to work with. But it's still, you're going to have to walk this fine line because she handled the situation so poorly.
Like, my favorite woman wrestler in the world is like, hey, let's train, let's have fun. But, I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to say? Hey, Mercedes, don't do that.
Yeah, there are a few wrestlers that I really like that I can tell they're like, nah, what's wrong with working with Tessa? I think that'd be great.
So
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because as somebody that watched a lot of indie wrestling, she's had some great matches. Like one of the things that made me a Kylie Ray fan was her matches with her for Zello Pro. She's had great matches with a lot of local promotions around the Midwest, and when it got bad, it got bad.
I'm not bullshitting you, Phil. She would have been like Charlotte Flair and Tessa Blanchard would have main event in WrestleMania by this point. Like Blanchard and Flair, like it's written in the stars for her. Like she was on her way to having all of this, and that hit at the worst time for her.
At one point, when the Horsewomen of MMA thing didn't seem like it was working out, and you weren't going to get the Horsewomen versus Horsewomen match, I was sitting saying the way to remedy this is Tessa Blanchard leading her version of the Horsewomen versus the Horsewomen of WWE. That's the easy fix to this. She has ties to the Horsemen. You could have easily done this, but yeah, a lot of things about this.
And like I said, I think that even if she, if she goes and she eventually does do that, she can still rectify the situation. I still think one day she'll be in the WWE.
Yeah, I think that the backlash to her going to WWE would be a lot less than the backlash of her going to AEW, honestly, because they've done other things where they've brought in questionable people, but they'll put the machine behind it and they'll work this. They know how to put a spin on it and make it work, and I think that they could do that. But right now, they're probably looking around like, no way. We're on a hot streak right now. We got these other things that we don't want anywhere near us. We got this lawsuit and all these things. We don't want her over here at all. And AEW probably the same way. We got enough backstage drama that keeps leaking. I don't want her nowhere near our company.
We don't need something that everybody already knows is drama coming in. Like, that's not the place that any of those two companies are at. But like I said, if she goes there and she's a model citizen and she's kissing babies and slapping hands, I think eventually she'll go there. WWE will just be like, hey, her dad's Tully Blanchard. And he had a lot of rivalries with Ric Flair and shit, and it'll be over.
That's what I'm saying. That the stuff with TNA, it could work out in her favor. It's not the worst idea to go back to TNA and, build your reputation back up. But I think it's going to be hard for some people to get past the outrage that's going to come with signing her. I'm not sure if she'll ever overcome that.
Yeah. And the TNA, don't forget, you still got one of my probably favorite women's wrestler in the world, Masha Slamovich. Don't screw her out of all of this, please.
Yeah. I think it's going to be sad if it took this long to put the belt on Masha and then Tessa comes back and they just put the belt on Tessa within the next few months. I wouldn't like that.
Bad sign. But there was also, before we get off of it, Tessa left CMLL and relinquished. She was one half of the tag team champions. So, like, there was some extra curricular activities on the end of that, too. It wasn't smooth sailing as many would think,
Well, that's how people initially found out that she's probably signing, because that looked familiar. It looked like the stuff with Stephanie Vaquero from earlier this year. So they were like, probably means she's signing somewhere. And sure enough, back with TNA.
And you don't have to do that. It's TNA. Like, you could have went back. It's fine. They tape their shows and play them on TV later. Like, they don't have this killer ass schedule where you couldn't finish out the rest of your bookings, But that's the point that we're getting at with WWE playing the game and people moving like this. It's like everybody's going to start to feel like they need to move that way too.
Yeah. But we'll see. Did not expect to see that on Friday night coming into a packed wrestling weekend, but here we are, a way to close 2024 off with Tessa Blanchard being signed to one of the major wrestling companies again.
It's really going to be fitting if that rumor that is out in the world is true about Teflon Donna coming back tonight too. I'm like, they back the same weekend too? Like, it's lit. Teflon Donna is looming.
Yeah, looking forward to Charlotte coming back, honestly. She's been away long enough that I'm looking forward to her coming back. And she missed WrestleMania before, and looking forward to seeing what they could possibly do with her. I think there's a really good chance we could get the Bianca Charlotte match that they've been trying to get to for a while. We shall see.
Now, she's a hot commodity, though. There's hella women in the locker room that want that WrestleMania match. Like, it's not going to be like everybody's going to be fighting to get a Charlotte Flair Mania match.
For sure. If Tiffany does cash in before WrestleMania, that's an easy opponent to set up for Tiffany Stratton. She has said many times that she was inspired to wrestle by Charlotte Flair. So that could be a big one. There's a few of them that you can have with Charlotte heading to WrestleMania. But yeah, of course, send us your super chats and your humper chats. Humperchats.com/Fightful. Got one from Deontay Soignier. He says, what up, y'all? Went offline. People were trying to ruin wrestling for me, but we back up, feeling the spirits. Very excited about Stardom year-end, Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty, Saturday Night Main Event, Collision, and World's End. All love. A lot of wrestling you just said coming up. But yeah, I am excited. We've got big stuff coming up from the Stardom show. Unagi is back. She's challenging Tam Nakano at the upcoming Stardom pay-per-view. They just announced the mini tournament that they're setting up to determine their wrestler that they're sending to the International Women's Cup. So excited for that as well. I believe I have that. When I get into New Japan stuff, I'll try and pull that card up for their mini tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of wrestling to end the year and start the year. Japanese wrestling is going up. They got a lot of exciting stuff happening. American wrestling is in that too. So it's really exciting. There's going to be some great wrestling in ring to end the year.
Yes. We got one more from Deontay Soignier. He says, Moose as ex-champ beating Speedball, Tessa back, wrestlers slapping fans, TNA, you're funny. Really hope Becky comes back. Seconds after Charlotte, LOL. I completely
Did you see this Eddie Edwards thing, Phil? Oh my God, dude, I forgot. Yeah, so if you guys didn't see, on the show last night, Eddie Edwards is in this match. He slaps a drink out of a fan's hand. He's jawing with the fan. He goes to walk away, and the fan like slaps him, and Eddie Edwards slaps the living shit out of it. He slaps him so hard that Tom on commentary reacts to the slap. He's like, oh! I don't know what's happening. TNA was going crazy yesterday. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this, because initially I was saying, is this a plant? Because just the way that it looked, I said, this looks kind of like a plant, but everything about it was very weird. With the other stuff going on with TNA, I was thinking, what is going on? The smirk that this guy had on his face after he slapped Eddie, and then Eddie like instantly slapped him back. I just was sitting looking around like, what is happening right now? What's going on? Keep your hands to yourself, people. Don't put your hands on the wrestlers, please, because that could have gone very different from that guy if he was not a plant. We've seen wrestlers beat down a guy trying to get in the ring, or a guy that put hands on them. No, keep your hands to yourself, people, please.
I hope it wasn't a plant, Phil, because why would they do? It looks like a plant, though. The whole situation, I'm like, all right, this is pretty on the wrestling on the line, but why though?
Why would you do that? One of my favorite things from the clip is the black guy behind them watching the whole thing. He's like, oh, he like turns around, looks the other way. Like if he doesn't look at it, it'll stop happening.
The way that he looks the other way. He's like,
I love black people, man.
It's like when you're seeing a sibling get beat by your mom or something. You're like,
whoa. He got nothing to do with me. Let me get over here.
I'm crying, dude. That shit was hilarious.
Oh,
dude.
Man. That was one of the first things I noticed when I first saw it. Homie was like, whoa.
I'm not involved in this at all. TNA, dog. I don't know what y'all are doing, but some of y'all bits are very funny.
Oh man, I hope that that sounds like the fan was ejected right afterwards. But I will reiterate, please keep your hands to yourself, guys. Don't put your hands on the wrestlers.
Don't touch a wrestler, because he got it. Like Eddie slapped the life out of him, but he still got off pretty easy. Most of these wrestlers would have started choking him and like pulling them over the guardrail. Like, take it easy.
He still had that grin on his face afterwards, which again made me think, well, no, man, this looks a little fugazi, but I don't know.
I just don't understand why. On any parts, like, why did he think to do that? There's just so many things that I'm like, what happened here?
If this true, he left that place in cuffs. If so, okay. So somebody in our chat is saying it wasn't a plant. My friend was sitting in the area, watched the whole thing. He was super drunk, left in cuffs.
Oh.
Yeah, again, be careful out here. Do not put your hands on the wrestlers, guys. Please. I'm sure that beer was expensive. I would have been salty if beer got slapped out of my hand too. But again, keep your hands to yourself, man. Please keep your hands to yourself.
Because the thing, like if you get yourself in that situation, you become one of those heckling wrestling fans. Everything Eddie Edwards did was pretty on the line. He slapped the beer out of his hand, then he like jawed with him, but he never touched him. So when he got slapped, like his reaction is to slap back because he's a wrestler, you know.
That's why I'm saying that could have been a lot worse for that guy.
Because Eddie was hot afterwards.
Yeah, you could see because he started walking the other direction immediately. Yeah, please don't touch the wrestlers, guys.
What make you think to, I don't, some people when they get drunk, they like, I could wrestle too. Let me get in there. But like, you can't, dude. Do not do this.
Yeah.
Whew. That was a good laugh.
From Chris Spears, how we think WWE will use Charlotte when she returns. See, we talked a little bit about that. I'm not sure yet. They've got some ready-made stuff for her to do. You have more titles. I have to assume if Tiffany is champion by then, you have a ready-made feud with Tiffany. You got a ready-made feud with Bianca. It's just kind of a secondary feud if you need be. Depends on what's happening on Raw, who will be champion. Based on what we saw this week on Raw, I said, "Oh man, we might have to get to that one." That closing shot of Raw, that might be a WrestleMania match, bro.
I'm saying that's a big moment. Do you keep Charlotte out of the new championship divisions? Do you try to keep that to like the younger up and coming ones, like the Intercontinental and the US championships? Do you keep her out of those divisions?
Well, it depends on who's holding that belt. I think that there's stuff that you can do. I don't want to be one of those people that's like she's above a mid card. It depends on the feud that you're setting up here, because I think there are several things you can do. I've seen some people say that Natty should be IC champion. Natty with the IC belt versus Charlotte, for example, that could be a big match for WrestleMania. What that means for the Intercontinental Championship. There's stuff you can do, but it all depends on who's holding that belt, I think.
Yeah, there's places that she could put people over, but she shouldn't like be the champion and like do that, because like she's already established herself in a different thing. And I think these championships need to be new and put in new and different situations, and like the 4 horsewomen and the people kind of involved in that should be in a different lane than that. But it's going to be exciting to see. Like I said, there's a lot of people fighting for Charlotte feuds, and a lot of people excited to have her back. I think she has a lot of places where she could really cook anywhere.
Yep. From Tenruza, he says, love to you both, but no love to TNA. Doing old TNA things. Next thing will be bringing Riddle in full time. TNA with TNA with the Fed Connect, making them go crazy. Yeah.
They bought in Riddle
decisions were
last
made
week or something. Like he was. I think that maybe if they're just like, we're going full Spike TV back in the day, like we're alternative, it might work out for them. Because again, there's a bunch of people that don't care about Matt Riddle's allegations. They like him. I watch MLW and they're cheering for him. Like they don't care about that stuff.
They do not care
at all.
They do not care. Got one from Mod Revolve. He says, got tickets to DC and all 3 Hammerstein shows. Let's go.
3 Hammer shows in a row would be pretty hard though. But yeah, I'm excited about I'm excited about the Hammerstein shows. I wish I was going to pull up. I think there's going to be a lot of exciting, and just the change of scenery and like having that energy, I think is going to be very exciting. And the DC show at Osprey and fucking Darby I'm ready.
Yeah, that's an exciting one. So yeah, hopefully have a good time. That sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of wrestling, bro. That's 4 wrestling shows is a lot.
Oh my God.
See, we got one from Tim Ruza. He says, Hove going hard at the lawyer. He is going to fight. Yeah, I definitely got that inkling from his statement that he is going to fight this.
Did you see Tina liked the thing and then she said she was hacked? I'm like, who hacks a page to like?
Tina
Knowles. There was like something against Hove. She liked something that was like disparaging to Hove, and then she came on and she was like, "Oh, I was hacked." It's like, who hacks a page to like a thing?
Oh no!
I was hacked is always the funniest bit.
I was hacked. Oh no!
I was hacked.
Yikes! We got more from Ten Ruther. He says Snoop at the Game Awards was fun. Good new music. I did not see any of the Video Game Awards, but that sounds dope.
Oh, me neither. Where do they show that at? Where do they do that at?
I'm sure it's on a cable channel that I'm not watching because I am a cord cutter and I watch everything on streaming.
I was gonna say I don't think G4 exists anymore.
G4. It used to be on Spike. I don't know if it's still on Spike.
That's right. Mm-hmm. I don't think, is there Spike still?
I don't know. I don't know. Got another one from Tim Ruse. He says, shout out to K-Dot for doing that live show. Yeah, that was dope seeing him out and about for the TDE Christmas concert. That he looks very happy. That's what I took away from it.
Yeah, very excited. They usually do some kind of Christmas experience, some kind of Christmas giveaway, something to support the community, a concert. Very dope to see all of TDE out there representing. I think Kendrick is just the talk of everything right now. The album is still going insane. I heard the album. I went to karaoke and the homegirl that was doing karaoke, she was playing the Kendrick album between the karaoke songs, and like hearing it out loud outside and people dancing to it makes it hit a lot harder. That album's hard. Just want to say.
Well, I saw somebody on Twitter saying, y'all like this Hey Now record? I was like, sheesh.
Hey Now go. It might have went the hardest.
Hey Now goes hard, bro. I ain't trying to hear that. Bruh.
Yes, we do like this.
Every time it comes on, it gets that little damn. I like that. I be sitting like, nah, this is a joint, man. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Nah, watch some California.
All about my end.
Watch some California. Step into that. It'll change your mind. It's different. Nah. It's different for us. I'm biased. I know.
I still see some people saying, you guys only like this album because you hate Drake. I don't hate Drake, and this album. No, not at all. I don't know what y'all talking about.
I don't even look at it as that type of album. So.
Yeah, me neither. Got one from Chi-Town Spurs. He says, 4 days later, I'm still laughing at you know who they not Ricochet. Jadakiss laugh. Really great. Really great in the last two matches for him too.
That's the comparison and contrast. It's like the last 2 or 3 Ricochet matches have been fire, but that promo, I was like, I like Ricochet a lot, but I don't. What is
it, man? I love Ricochet. Generational talent. Straight up. Just fantastic. Some of these interviews, man. Some of these interviews.
They're not Ricochet. It's crazy.
Bro, the interview where he's sitting down with Ospreay and he does I'm Kobe Bryant with it. I was saying, okay, all right, cool. This one, nah, that wasn't it.
I'm Kobe Bryant with it still just like melts my brain. Yeah, because like you kind of are, but like the way that you say it, I don't feel you.
Yeah. Wrestling is so unserious, and so a lot of times I just want to laugh. I just want to laugh at these things, but that interview, I was sitting there like, what just happened? What was that?
The way that he just backs up off the screen too is like, wait, come back.
Come back. Where you going? Come back here. Hold on, I got some more questions. Get back here. Where you going? Where you going, bro?
I got a lot more questions, dog. Can't just moonwalk out of here.
Yeah, that would.
It's so funny, dude.
But we did see in the match and in the segment, he's doing more heelish things. He did draw reference to that card again. It does seem like we could be heading towards Ricochet as a member of Hurt Syndicate. Yeah. And if this is leading to him having a mouthpiece in MVP, I think that could be very, very beneficial to him.
And him just continuously being this kind of obnoxiously whatever he's doing thing is funny. But yeah, like was said, the matches though, the Commander match and this Brody King match, I'm like, oh, this is the Ricochet. This is that guy I've been saying, where is he? He finally showed up. He's ready. He's wrestling and acting like he is that dude. He's Kobe Bryant with it.
From Just Ricardo, cancel my TNA sub immediately upon hearing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're gonna have to deal with some reactions like that. This is not gonna be a popular reaction bringing Tessa Blanchard back in.
And I'm like, it kind of feels like they're building goodwill, but then they keep doing things like this that like their core, that's the thing about TNA is they have a core that's going to stick with them no matter what, but they always do things to fuck with their core. And it's like, I don't really these are people who are here to support you. You would think that you would do everything in your power to help them, but they just do so many things where they're just like, we have a bigger bottom line than that. And so I'm like, I feel you, but like your core.
Yeah. Just, might need to be a little bit careful. Just, might need to walk a thin line with some of these things, but we'll see how it works out.
It's y'all company, not ours. Y'all got a new president. He out here making moves. I see you. I feel you.
Yeah. But I do feel like she was going to get booked to more places. Even if the TNA thing didn't happen, I just feel like it was inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Got another one from Grapple Geekery. Says it's crazy. She and Ricochet were a couple circa What Culture Pro Wrestling. Yeah,
that was a thing. Mm-hmm. Different time. Very different time.
Yeah. Got another one from Just Ricardo. He says they knew she wouldn't be welcome. They told none. Yeah.
That's the thing that's kind of sketchy about it, Phil. It's like they didn't tell her. Nobody, like you knew, you didn't even tell the people that she's going to be working with. That looks crazy. That's pretty wild.
It does not look good. And it tells me that, like Ricardo was saying, they already knew that some people were going to be against it.
Right.
From Leron Forrest, he says, hopefully Masha ends up in AEW at some point.
Hopefully.
Yeah, Masha's great.
I've been praying on it.
Yeah, I love Masha. So, no matter where she ends up, I just hope she's successful.
I just want to see Masha and Mercedes really bad too. So the closer we get to that is the way.
That would be fire.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Spears, if Becky returns, what would you do with her? I think that Becky's winning the Women's Rumble. I've been predicting that for a while. Mm-hmm. I think that she is going to come back. She's been saying for a long time that she wants to be the first woman to win 2 Rumbles. I do think she's going to do that before she ends up retiring.
Yeah, her and Charlotte are kind of in the same boat of there's a lot of people fighting to get that position in a match with them. Like hella both locker rooms are like a match with Becky Lynch, a program of Becky Lynch would do wonders for my career. She's definitely looming. I feel like she's going to come back for the Rumble too. And when she comes back to that massive pop, you got to put her over. So I feel like that's happening. There's a lot of, just like Charlotte, there's a lot of different directions that she can go that I think would be dope for somebody to get put over. So she has a lot of options.
Right. She unsurprisingly was available at that press event with Seth. I don't think that there was ever a chance that she was going to AEW, guys.
No.
I think she's coming back to WWE.
Yes.
Could be happening on January 6th.
Again, January 6th.
I'm just saying, could be happening. Could be happening at this Netflix premiere, or maybe they'll save it for the Rumble. I think that would be a really good surprise to save for the Rumble if they want it. But if you want another big star to add to this Netflix debut, I could see it being Becky Lynch.
Good place to have her in there. Tonight, do you think there's beyond Charlotte, do you think there could be a big return or big somebody happening there?
Yeah, I've seen some teases that it could be Charlotte. I've seen some reports. I was curious as to why they held off of bringing her back in November, because there were reports at one point that she was going to be ready around Survivor Series. So I have to assume if they didn't want to use her then, they've got to be saving her for one of these big dates like this Saturday Night Main Event or the Raw on Netflix. So we'll see.
Huh. Nice.
Yeah, I think SmackDown makes the most sense for her in terms of a place to go to. So we'll see.
Yeah.
From Leonard Aaron III, Tina sounds like she may not have forgotten or forgiven Hove for what he did. Looking forward to tomorrow's New Japan card. Yo, saying looking forward to New Japan after that is hilarious.
We got the best show, dude. It's just like, ho, ho, ho. That's crazy what he did. But that New Japan card is going to be dope tomorrow.
Man.
You're right, though.
This Tina Knowles thing, this is crazy. Man, this New Japan card, though.
I love it, man. What a great mix. But yeah, the New Japan card is fire tomorrow though. Like Leo and Hechicero, come on, that's heat.
Yeah. Are you pulling up for that show?
Nah, I'm dog sitting. I'm stuck. I hope they load it up for the January New Japan show. That's where I'll be at in San Jose.
Yeah, usually they put a lot on that show. That's been kind of the Mercedes show since she debuted. So we'll see. From Tim Ruza, he says the Fed ransacking TNA will be wild. Hope Alexander goes to AEW. TNA might have shot themselves in the foot being with Fed. New anthem head. They sell TNA, question mark. I don't know, man. It's looking kind of crazy over there. I'm not sure what the value of TNA is at this point. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure where, like, what do they think is gonna happen with this kind of move with Tessa? Like, what is the move to grow this brand moving forward?
And if that's the sell, like that's like what you're pitching of like we're gonna have this controversial shit that we can't even tell the locker room. Probably not a good way to start. Probably not a good.
Yeah, I don't know.
And who's gonna buy this? You know, we're at such a different space of like, I guess like there's, since we're going to like streaming, like Amazon could maybe have a, like, you know what I mean? Like just thinking of companies and spaces like that, I guess there is, but like you said, what's the value of TNA? People aren't like clamoring. I don't it's such a touchy situation. Like you might as well just stay at Anthem because I don't know who wants that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna do moving forward, but we shall see. In our chat, Jero J says, just bring the dog with you. Get a black sweatshirt and a lucha mask. Somehow you'll get in with it. Just say it's a baby. I don't know.
Bring the dog with you. It's crazy. It's far. Dog don't want to be in the car for 5.5 hours.
No, you don't want to be in the car for 5.5 hours.
Absolutely not.
From No Bueno Crew, it says Thief's theme or made you look for Tessa's new theme.
She don't deserve it.
Blanchard.
That's the way you get Timberland up as their line. All right.
Now let's get it all in perspective.
Not me becoming a fan of Tessa Blanchard at this point. I'm like, that sounds good.
Blanchard. Rafael Garcia. Everyone has a good lucha things promo in them. Hello.
Good lucha things. That was a bit for a while. Yeah, I think I don't know if recently Ricochet's trying to like develop a thing or is he's trying a bunch of different things, but that shit got me good.
For another one from Leonard Aarons, the third, he says TNA lost me when they got off of YouTube and got in with WWE. The Tessa thing barely registers because, in all seriousness, she should get a second chance. Yeah, I'm sure that there are a lot of people that feel that way. And I'm not here to say whether she deserves a second chance or not. I just think that in order to do that, you have to work for that. You can't just expect people to just forget about these things and move on. That's just not going to happen.
Right. I'm with everybody having a second chance if you did something to make me give you a second chance. But if you're just like, I want a second chance because of time, that's not enough for me.
From Bragav, who has been a member for 18 months. Appreciate you, Bragav.
Happy
Happy Grapsody Day. Hope y'all are doing well. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Kicking it. It's rainy, it's cold, it's wet, but other than that,
yeah,
I'm gonna be inside all day. There's all this TV to watch.
Yeah, I definitely got spoiled because it took longer to get cold in November than it usually did, and once it got cold, it was not playing around. It got cold.
You showed that on Blue Sky the other day, that single digit in Chicago, and I was like, you know what? Not so bad over here in my 49-degree weather. Single digits, Phil. That doesn't even my brain doesn't even know what that means. That's crazy.
Yeah, it has been very cold here.
It's snowing, or it's just
no real snow yet. There was a little bit of snow, but it melted immediately. We haven't gotten a big snow yet. From Tenruza said the past couple of New Years have had wild breaking news in wrestling. We're getting more craziness before year's end. All Vince stuff broke around both New Year's Eve. We did get a lot of crazy stuff. That was also when the other thing happened with AEW on New Year's Eve. So
we had a crazy New Year's Eve one time. Yeah, I think that it's becoming a thing, and I feel like it might happen again this year. There's a lot of stuff just looming in the shadows, and it's like stuff just keeps coming out. Phil, every day I'm like, oh, that's wild. The Phoenix stuff this week, I was like, ooh,
yeah, that was
all right,
a lot going on. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All I've been saying is like, oh, that's crazy, dog.
I still don't know what to make of all of that. As I said before, I don't agree with them adding time to his contract for injuries, but some of those tweets.
But there was something like he was listening to a podcast about a different company and he was reacting to that is the thing. I'm like, there's a lot. Yeah, apparently there was
he got hacked too?
Yeah, essentially. But there's a podcast by like Latin Lover or some lucha legend, and Phoenix was apparently like responding to the podcast or talking about things in the podcast. Because when he said it, I'm like, he could be talking about like a different promotion when he says this. Like he didn't say, I'm talking about AEW. And then so like they were like, oh yeah, he said he was listening to a podcast and here he's reacting to that. But essentially he got hacked.
It's the same guy that got Tina, I guess. Yeah. He had a busy week.
Let me get. This is my favorite wrestler, and this is my favorite artist's mom. So this is my week.
Yeah.
Busy.
From Chris Austin, he says, I actually might want to put it on the screen. Sorry. Tessa is a perceived Karen, victim, and bigot. Ricochet is not a promo guy at all. Other than that, happy Saturday, fellas.
He doesn't have to be. That's the issue too. You don't have to, dog. You don't got to talk. You could just get in the ring and do this. But they insist. And it feels like every single week he talks, Phil. And like,
we don't have to do this.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
You don't have to do that.
But that's it. More why I'm excited for if he does potentially be in the Hurt Syndicate, because like him being that shitty little prick while MVP's gassing him up is like money.
No, that laugh hits differently if he's doing it behind MVP.
Right.
Gassing him up. I don't know I still don't know if he should be doing that, but I
don't know about the laugh though. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
And Jada's gonna be mad.
No, he might listen, man. He's selling coffee and doing other things, but he did have a rap career where that was his trademark. So you gotta be careful.
And he still be rapping like that too. I saw the Locks in concert a few months ago, and he still was just as vicious.
Yeah, rappers are like wrestlers in that vein of like, yo, you still in? This is my thing. Like you gotta clear that first, bro. From Hey, what's over there? He says jokingly, Toni could buy TNA for the library.
I think it has more weight in WWE with their guys. I think like Toni got Ring of Honor, and I think that's the library that makes more sense for his roster. But I mean, there's some things in there because like that thing is about like AJ Styles and like Abyss, and like those are all guys that are like WWE guys.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. We got one from Tony P, who's a Use Your Humper Chat regular. He says, Humpers aren't working. Still have to give my petty a week. And it goes to Joe Pearl for his rant on TNA on his, I guess, In the Weeds yesterday. Bravo, sir. You beat out Drew. Also, Thanks, Phil, for the critique on the Gunther comic. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat. And no, those pencils look great, bro. Keep at it.
Yeah, keep killing them, Tony P. Keep representing out there. We always appreciate your support. It's super dope. And Joe Pearl ranting on TNA, that's rare. He wouldn't do that.
I did not see this rant, but as somebody that watches TNA regularly, I have to assume he was not too happy. He was not going to make the jokes and stuff like me and Reg are, because he's actually invested in his company. He wants it to do well. I also want TNA to do well, but I also think things are funny.
Yes, exactly. When you're on the outside looking in, hella funny. But it gets like that. I was like that for Ring of Honor, which I just caught the last Ring of Honor episode, was really great. And I think they're setting up some interesting tidbits for Final Battlefield. One of the matches announced was QT Marshall versus Jay Lethal. How you feel about that?
It's definitely a choice. Did not think that would be on a Ring of Honor card, but also on the same Ring of Honor card, Matt Cardona taking on Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship. So
there you go.
We're, this is where we're at. I will say, watching that Fatal 4-Way with the women the other night, I was saying, man, Red Velvet is great. She's got it. You got to get her back on main AEW. She's great.
Nah, Red Velvet got it like crazy. When she initially came back from her injury, I was like, damn, Red Velvet could go. But now she really like put it all together. I'm like, damn, she got the character where she knows when to react, but like the moves and the crispness of how she was working, I was like, oh no, they got Red Velvet fucked up, I think.
Yeah, she looks great. I know we all are waiting for Athena as well to come back to AEW television, but we might have to start that conversation for Red Velvet very soon. I mean, we really need to start it now because she's been honestly fantastic.
She's ready. It's funny about Athena because she's so fucking good. Like, it's effortless how she like works, and it's like criminal that she's not in a higher position. But then you see her in Ring of Honor and it bringing her brand and everything, and it's like it's also fitting though, because it like she fits so well. Like, she gets all the time in the world. She gets to really develop herself over here. But I still want to see at All In Texas her versus Mercedes. So I'm just gonna say that out loud.
Yes. The match that I was talking about is the Fatal 4-Way to decide the ROH women to go to the Tokyo Dome to represent the brand in the International Women's Cup. To nobody's surprise, Athena picked up the win. Some shenanigans here. Very much upset her mentee, Billy Starks, which is a part of the build to their final battle match. I have to assume not just that this is going to be a big start of the year for Athena going to the Tokyo Dome, but it's time. You drop that belt to Billy Starks. It's time to get her back on AEW television.
This is it. Last year we were in the same position and we thought that Starks is going to do it, but they built a whole year for her to get her redemption. So it's time for her to get her redemption next week at Final Battle. This Fatal 4-Way, if you guys haven't seen though, and if you have some time, super fun. All the ladies are working hard. Layla Hirsch, incredible wrestler too. Like, Billy Starks keeps getting taller, so she looks so giant in this match. I'm like, damn, she's like towering over everybody, and she's the youngest one in there. The way that she bumps and sells too, incredible work. Like, Billy Starks is on her way. Athena and Red Velvet working together. I'd like to see them have a program like this. This match is fun. You guys should definitely check it out.
Yeah, very good match. All four talented women. Layla Hirsch is another one that I say all the time. She's just so unique. It's her style of wrestling and everything. I would love to see more of her as well. From Hey, what's over there? He says, if Conan just shut his mouth, the Lucha Bros could be in WWE right now.
Could they?
Maybe. I don't know the whole story with that. So
is that how that works?
Maybe. A lot of stuff being said that maybe you can just keep to yourself. It's all right.
Just maybe not say that out loud. Or like keep it in your group chat, not a group chat that could get to other people.
Yeah. That is all of our super chats.
Y'all are so cool.
Get into some of these humper chats before we move forward with the rest of our topics. Got one from the homie D-Lo Diggs. He says, "Sup fellas, the new Dre and Snoop is what I needed this week. Also, man, I don't know how I feel about TNA now." Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be feeling that way coming out of this announcement.
Okay, devil's advocate, Phil. We're talking about TNA. A bunch of people have been sending in super chats about TNA.
I don't know.
Maybe this is what they wanted. I don't know.
I don't know if this is how you want to get there, but
you definitely don't want to do this. This isn't the way at all. But we are talking about it. I guess that's a thing. Oh no. See, you don't want to become that company because then you got to keep that up. Like, what are you gonna do in 6 months when it's not lit? You're gonna fucking, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be that. Just you have the ability, you have the wrestlers, you have the pieces to put it together. You don't need any shenanigans, but that's classic TNA. They've always had shenanigans involved.
Yeah, you don't need that to get people interested in your knockouts division. The knockouts division has been consistently the better part of your company. So
it still is too. You still got it out there. The X division still got heavy hitters when Moose isn't the champion. But I don't know. Oh man. I don't know. Good luck.
That reminded me of something I saw last night. I it reminded me to send you that when we get out of here. I completely forgot about it. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Can you leave me alone? from Give Me the Raw Nut, Grapsody meet up in WrestleMania or All In Weekend, live show at either show. Yeah, that's still something we're thinking about. I don't know which we're going to end up doing, but definitely want to try and do a meetup in 2025.
Are you coming to Vegas?
Oh, I'm going to Vegas for sure. At this point, I'm planning to. We'll see.
We'll definitely be there, but I kind of am more interested in Texas, though. We're definitely going to be in Vegas, but I think I don't know, but Vegas, there's so many events going on that it's like hard to try to coordinate. That's my only kind of problem. Like thinking of like being a WrestleMania weekend and time, and it's like I don't know when that could be slotted in. But yeah, 2025, you'll get one of these places somewhere.
For sure. Conrad was also at the press event. He announced that StarCast will be coming back during All In Texas weekend. So something to look out for too. That sounds awesome.
Exciting. Busy, so busy.
Yeah, a lot. From Current Veronica is not good. Y'all mentioned the NBA games. Saturday night main event, however, and forgot about Collision. Hater versus Willow. Let's fucking go. I also can't believe Kyle beat Okada last week. Who's the C2 finalist? Yeah, that's a good place for us to get into some Continental Classic talk. Continental Classic again has been such a great way to revitalize AEW's programming. Just put on straightforward matches. Can't miss with this. Put wrestlers in there that's gonna hoop. We talked about it in our group chat, but man, some of that Commander talk did not age well because Commander's been out here killing it.
It's been so funny. It's like when they announced it, people were like, why would they do this? We just know he's going to lose. We're going to blah, blah, blah. And then he comes in and does exactly what I figured he was going to do, was just like have these banging ass matches, showcase himself and showcase his opponent. And like he had 2 fire matches back to back. The Ricochet match was awesome. It was just spot foo, high flying, 2 guys trying to outdo each other. The Darby match was so interesting and intriguing, of like trying to see Darby against a kind of a different style than he doesn't work a lot of high flyers. He's usually the small one getting tossed around. So him like trying to figure out that thing and being Darby. Another awesome Commander match. I think he's had such a great run, but maybe the MVP so far, Phil, I don't know how you feel. Brody King, dog, the way that he's been, his confidence, the way that he's been working, like he's trying to take every single person's head off. He's had some losses that felt more important than a win. Like I felt like the Claudio match last week, when he lost, I was like, but as soon as he lost, it felt like, oh damn, this might be bigger for him. I don't know if I felt the same way about the Ricochet match. I felt like that one could have went either way, but I think the way that Brody King has been working, he's like, beyond this, I want to be a singles guy that y'all are interested in.
Yeah, the fans are definitely on board. The fans are loving him. I think that if nothing else coming out of this shows that all of those House of Black guys, you got to do something with them in 2025 because they are very popular right now.
They're so over, dude. I keep thinking like there was a moment where it wasn't even that people were down on them. They just weren't on TV. Like I was like, maybe people don't like House of Black. No, as soon as you see them on TV, they're so over. All 3 of them separately, together, like that act is just established in AEW.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, starting out with Collision last Saturday, we got Darby Allin versus Commander. I was very much curious to see how these two wrestlers were going to work together, how their styles were going to mesh in this match. Because Iridian was saying on the Collision post show that Darby, in a lot of ways, kind of wrestles like a luchador. He does very high flying, reckless stuff, but also. You might not need to pull out that chair. It's cool. Like you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't need to do that, but also I know that it's Darby, and Darby's gonna do something like that at least once in a match, where it's like, hold on, though. Wait a minute. But no, this match was a lot of fun. Like you said, the Commander matches so far in this tournament, the Ricochet match, the Darby match, both very, very fun matches. I've said many times that Darby, his matches are so unique to him. They're such a spectacle unique to him. And the Darby match, man, it hits almost every time. I don't care who you put him in there with. You put him in there with a luchador you see here. You put him in there with bigger guys that can throw him around and he can bump and all this other stuff. Just a fun television wrestler to watch. One of my favorite television wrestlers at the moment.
That's why comparing him to a luchador is such a great comparison, because like all of his matches feel like that. There's like, you're going to see something wild. You're going to see something you maybe never seen before. This guy's going to put his body on the line sometimes when he maybe shouldn't, and it's just because for the love of the game. And Darby Allin's just such a for the love of the game wrestler. His matches are so unique, but so different with different opponents. Like, he's the most TV wrestler that AEW has. You always guaranteed a banger, but like then I started immediately thinking of Will Ospreay, and I'm like, that guy.
I don't care where you put that guy, he's gonna perform.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we got two pretty big upsets on Collision. I mean, the biggest one of the night, Kyle Fletcher defeated Kazuchika Okada. There's so much to like about this. I love that they're following up all of the stuff with Kyle Fletcher. It's not like he just beat Ospreay and then they put him in a tournament and he had like a so-so performance. He's been like the MVP of this tournament so far. He's been having great matches. Beating Okada is a big win, but also it plays into all this stuff with his story. He's been saying all along, I am not Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay in Japan struggled to beat Okada in a G1 climax. And so to have him here straight away get a big win. And this also plays into the Continental Championship match that he had with Okada early in the year. And Okada cheated to win this match. And in this match, you see that Kyle Fletcher learned something from that match. He used his own ways against him. He cheated. At every turn, he kept trying to find little ways to beat him in this match. He tried to get him out of the ring and beat him with a count out. And then when that didn't work, he went for the low blow and picked up a massive win. Shout out to Kyle Fletcher, man. What a tournament so far. Racked up 9 points pretty quickly. Is leading his league. And he's got another match coming up this weekend.
Yeah, man, I was genuinely shocked at him beating Okada. I thought that Okada was going to run the gauntlet, beat everybody in his thing. But, like, I love that off of this Ospreay feud, they're making Kyle feel like a smart wrestler. He's not just like a swarmy heel. He's like, he knows every position. I guess being attached to Don Callis makes it make even more sense, because Don would know all these things. He would know that in your guys' last match, Okada cheated to win, so you should turn the tables on him and do that. Like, just having that connection, it's making Kyle seem like a not dumb wrestler. He's putting himself in the best position, and he, just like Brody King, maybe even more, really feels like the MVP of this tournament. This feels like this is his to lose, and he's trying to be there in the finals.
Yes. We also got Mark Briscoe taking on Daniel Garcia, picked up a big win. I really enjoyed this match. I really liked the dynamic between these two guys. Garcia came into this tournament with something to prove this year after his run last year. And it shows he underestimated Mark Briscoe in a little bit. And Mark Briscoe came and pulled up the big win. Used a very familiar finisher that we hadn't seen in a while in this one. I thought this was awesome.
The finish, it took me back to legit 2003. Mark Briscoe used to hit that finish all the time. First ever Briscoe's match I saw him do that and was like, oh my God, cutthroat driver is insane. This felt like a classic ROH match. Two underdogs, two guys that the crowd's behind. Mark Briscoe being that veteran, just wild style, trying to brawl all over the place, doing the things to get Daniel Garcia off guard. Daniel Garcia trying to take what he's learned in this tournament, the last tournament, and I think he still feels like he's in over his head, but is playing into the characters, playing into the work. And Mark Briscoe getting the upset even enhances that even more. This match was really fun. And for him to end it like that, I'm like, man, Mark Briscoe is, there's still so much stuff in his arsenal that he's never even used that he could add into it and change the game. And this is what that felt like.
Yeah, very, very fun night of matches. Collision was
fun.
great. Just same thing we were saying last week about how much fun Rampage was last week. Not for nothing, Rampage has been on a little bit of tear. Rampage is, for like 3 weeks in a row, Rampage has been really good.
It's crazy. Yeah, they like remembered that they could have hot matches on Rampage and start putting them on there. I'm like, you could just like always do this. Like that could be a thing. And it felt like for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, Rampage felt like an important show. It's drawing things together. It's having wrestlers that people want to watch. Like I'm super excited about Rampage, even though it's ending very soon.
Yeah, unfortunately, good that they're using it to build to something that it seems like, which we'll get into. The Harley Cameron 12 Days of Christmas thing they aired last night was also great. Harley Cameron, man, I'm telling you, one of the breakout stars of 2024. Highlight of Rampage most weeks. I thought that was genius to use her for that ad read.
She's phenomenal. Give her a raise.
Also great in the Toni Storm match. She just great. Wildly entertaining wrestler at this point.
Super entertaining. We'll get into more Toni Storm stuff here soon.
Yes. On the Winter's Coming episode of Dynamite, we got 2 Gold League matches. Will Ospreay took on Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio Castagnoli is quickly becoming one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. It's just so much fun to watch this guy at the moment. It just how mean he is in his character now, and just like how nasty he is, just how much he just loves matter-of-factly throwing people around. I love this guy right now. He's incredible. Will Ospreay picked up the win here, but afterwards Claudio went and picked up a chair because again he's not having it. Really good match though. Not a surprise with these 2 guys.
Yeah, these guys started going 100 miles per hour off rip. We knew that it was going to be a great not styles clash, because I feel like these guys kind of do the same type of thing. But the way that Claudio is a base, he's one of the best base in wrestling, and the way that Ospreay is 100%, we knew that this match was going to go off. I was complaining about Claudio's clothesline finish a few weeks ago, and then he did it on Ospreay here, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's why I'm like, you see Ospreay take a bump, you see an Ospreay sell for something, you're like, oh yeah, he can make any wrestling move in the world look devastating. And the way that Ospreay, when he does the back flip out of the clothesline too, that just like, it's such a simple and easy thing that blows my mind. We all kind of knew that Ospreay was he's being set up. He needs to get more wins here. So I figured that he would pick out the victory. Ospreay is my other choice. Besides, I feel like we might be getting a Ospreay and Okada run back. I feel like they could, because like there's no way that you're gonna have Ospreay lose this. And like, what's the only like main event you really could get out of this? Who are the 2 hottest guys coming out of this? Feels like Ospreay and Okada could be it, which sounds crazy. So yeah.
I agree. I think the finalists are going to be Okada versus Ospreay. I think there's a very good chance coming out of this tournament, Okada will be still holding that belt in time for Best Bout Machine to come back and finally get his match against him. I don't know when, I don't know where, but 2025 has to be the year, man. It has to be.
I can't believe that. Like, just the possibility of like Kenny Omega and Okada at like All In Texas, that Giants. So you got to sell this Giants show, Phil. Like, how do you sell this Giants show? This match we've been supposed to have in AEW for the last 5 or 6 years. Like, that's the way to do it. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah. Like you talked about earlier, we got Ricochet versus Brody King, also on Dynamite. Very, very fun match. Brody King basically taking none of this flippy nonsense off this guy. One of my favorite spots in the match was Ricochet getting on top and going for a crossbody and just like slamming against him like he hit a brick wall. And Brody is like, what are you even doing? I mean, several parts of this match where he is just beating down on this guy and he's trying to like recover and get out of there. And he's like, nope, throwing him against the barricade. Does the big senton again on him when he's sitting on a chair.
Oh my God. He crushed him with this cannonball in the corner. Like Ricochet, you can just like see Ricochet's soul leave his body.
But as I said, Ricochet continues to do heelish things. When he started to get his momentum towards in this match, I thought that this was leading to him getting like a big hope spot and a comeback spot. No, he started healing it up and hamming it up when he started coming back into this match, and that crowd started to boo Ricochet. He ends up winning with 2 spirit guns to Brody King. I don't know how I feel about this finish, but I do think it works with the character he's doing. I do think that this is leading to him potentially joining the Hurt Syndicate.
Oh, it is. Okay, now that does make sense, because every time he does it, I'm like, I hate this. And I was explaining on the post show with Denise, I'm like, it's Ricochet. Like, he does some of the most amazing things ever. That plays into him being a heel. Like, I could do a 630 splash right now, but actually, I'm gonna just finish it like this. That, like, okay, now I get it.
And also I can do anything that Ospreay can do.
Yes.
Like, you guys like that guy. He's doing this hidden blade thing. I can do that as well. And he does this very cocky, loads the gun. I think it's all part of this heel character that he's building.
I like it. I love it. I've been wanting to see Ricochet go full heel, cocky heel too. The little smirk he has when he does a borderline heel thing where he's like, I know that they saw that, but I don't really care. I love it.
Yeah. Very curious to see where Ricochet ends up after this tournament. I have to imagine he will be standing next to some other guys in suits.
Interesting. Very interesting.
We got 5 matches announced coming up. Got 2 matches tonight for the winners coming edition of Collision. Kazuchika Okada will be taking on Beast Mortos. Also got Mark Briscoe taking on Kyle Fletcher. That should be a fun. We also got another Toni Storm match tonight as well, taking on Shaza McKenzie. That also should be a fun one.
Shout out to Shaza. And off the backs of we talked about Rampage and some things that happen on Collision next week. The big homie Powerhouse Hobbs is now in contention for the International Championship. He came out and said he was mad at Don for not pulling up on him, and now that he wants to take the International Championship from Takeshita. And I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty hot and exciting. I remember them having there was the ladder match, the Revolution, Face of the Revolution ladder match, and they had some interactions in that, and that was fire. So a potential one-on-one match with Takeshita and the big homie Powerhouse Hobbs, some heat.
Yeah, exciting. Also got Jamie Hayter versus Willow to decide the AEW spot in the International Women's Cup. Should be a fun one as well. I'm predicting, of course, that Willow is going to pick up the W here, but
yeah,
should be a fun match. We got 3 Continental Classic matches coming up next week for Holiday Bash. Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay. What a match.
What's that going to be, Phil? Like, my brain is like, what is the what Darby has done some insane things, people to draw attention to his character. That's what his character would do. Trying to compete with Will Ospreay and knowing the depths that Darby would go to is just like, it's so intriguing. I'm so excited about that match. That's a clash of styles. That's such an intriguing matchup.
Yeah. Also got Shelton Benjamin taking on Beast Mortos. Shelton Benjamin's another guy in this tournament. He's been fantastic. Can't wait to see this match. And then also on Rampage, we got Brody King taking on Commander.
Oh, sick. Damn, that's going to be fun. Little Commander trying to like get around and under and doing that evasive thing against Brody King. Super duper fire. I'm really interested to see how Okada and Beast Mortos work tonight, because like it seems like it, looking at it, you'd probably think it's a clash of styles, but Okada spends so much time in Mexico on excursions that he's pretty versed in that style. So I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah. Kyle Fletcher is currently leading all competitors in Blue League with 9 points. Right behind him is Kazuchika Okada. Then I believe Dan Garcia is right behind him with 4 points. Mark Briscoe, Shelton Benjamin have 3 points. Unfortunately, Beast Mortos is officially out of the running with 0 points. He's eliminated moving forward.
Come on.
Go. Yeah. Hate to see it, but can't say that I'm shocked.
No.
But he's been tremendous as well. His matches have been a lot of fun to watch. He's kind of in that same spot the Commander is on the Gold League, though.
Mm-hmm. It's essentially the same. He's doing the same thing that Commander did. They're in the same position of like a lucha guy that's going to have a great match and get everybody over in the match, but like he's not winning this.
Yes. The Gold League, Will Ospreay is tied with Claudio Castagnoli, 6 points apiece. Tied with Claudio and Ricochet. All three of these guys have 6 points apiece. Brody King is coming in right behind them with 3 points. Darby Allin has 3 points, and Commander is also eliminated from moving forward with 0 points.
Come on. But this tournament is giving up the vibes, giving up the essence of what AEW is and represents. So I'm excited about the rest of it. Like I said, if it potentially ends with Okada and Ospreay, Kenny's looming, like this is going to be, it's going to end. It's going to stick the landing.
Yes. We're going to hit you guys with a word from our sponsor. When we get back, we'll get into some big returns, tonight's big show, and some New Japan news.
BetOnline.AG is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.AG. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline.AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.AG, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
Please, as always, bet responsibly. But for all your sports betting needs, BetOnline.AG is the place to go.
Oh, sorry. I was reading about Bully Ray. Sorry, you guys.
Why?
I don't know. I clicked on the Twitter and I was like, oh yeah, Twitter sucks. I forgot. Bet online, everybody. Get your bets in. Do they have Saturday? They probably have Saturday night's main events bets, huh?
I'm not sure. They may, but I have not looked.
Or basketball. There's a lot of stuff you can get in there, but of course, bet responsibly and have a good time out there, you guys.
Yes, of course, as always, bet what you can and please bet responsibly. See, we got
it's holiday seasons. Don't be putting it all on the line with your family. Need presents.
Yeah. I know it might sound good. Hey, man, I could get this parlay jumping off and, win big and buy some presents. Listen, man, please be careful, guys. Please be careful. We got a Humper chat from Javier from Texas. He says, Is Adam Cole versus MJF the worst major storyline in AEW history? I think they should have dropped it after seeing it is not resonating with anyone. They've dropped like 18 of Stokely's stories that were actually interesting, but this one is a 2-pack of ass.
Worst story ever? I don't know about ever.
I don't know if I would say worst ever, but this year it's definitely in the running.
Yeah,
I don't hate everything about it. I just think there's some missteps with the presentation of it, the execution of it, and I think for some people it kind of feels like a too little too late thing. Like they should have, because they couldn't get to it right away with the injury and stuff. It kind of feels like maybe we could have just moved on to something else, especially now that you're making Adam Cole a babyface. Yeah, I don't know. I'm ready to do something else with Cole,
because they're telling a story without MJF, with all the other guys. Like, just continue to tell that story and leave MJF out of it. Like, let MJF go do something else. It just feels like, yeah, I know there was an unfortunate injury, but it's like, you guys are still doing this. Like, why are we still doing MJF and Adam Cole stuff. Like it feels like all Adam Cole has ever did with his AEW career is fight against Max, and it's like we want something else for the guy.
Yeah, I totally agreed. But if you're like Javier from Texas, you want to send in your comments, humperchats.com/Fightful. Also, can send us your super chats. Best way to guarantee that your comments will be read online.
Facts.
We got, and other than the C2, biggest news of this week, Toni Storm is back. Toni Storm returned after, I thought, a very good main event with Mina Shirakawa taking on Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship. I thought that this was a kind of a logical place to bring in Toni, because you're going back to some of the story elements from Toni's time as champion, using using the Mina stuff as a way to build up. And it feels like it could have been a pay-per-view match. I'm sure that there's scheduling conflicts with Stardom, and that's why it didn't end up on World's End. I'm kind of confused as to why it wasn't just a Full Gear match, but
yeah,
what are you gonna do? But yeah, I thought this match was good, and the return was great.
Yeah, I thought that the match was, it maybe could have used some more time, but they definitely executed. It felt like Mariah was fighting because everybody was acting like Mina should win this match. A lot of people are like, oh, Mina should win, Mina should win. They're kind of counting Mariah out of this reign and counting her out. And she was fighting like, it's not my time right now. I'm here to beat ass. I'm wrestling on a different level. I'm doing promos on a different level. Like I'm getting to the level that I need to, and it's not my time right now. But Mina is such a enigma and such a over person that there was a lot of people buying into her winning this. There was a couple of false finishes in the match that really sold people that she might do it. And so I thought that paying off a long-term feud, I thought that they really did it. They definitely could use a rematch or some more time, but I thought this executed what needed to happen. And the return of Toni was, I think, perfect timing, especially with a couple of weeks ago of her starting that thing of I'm retired, and that caught on and people bit onto that. And for her to return with her old gimmick, and they're teasing some stuff with how it's happening, I think it's really a really good time for her to come back in.
I feel like I just tweeted within the last week of, man, you can really feel Toni Storm's absence on this show.
You did.
And so I was excited to see her just off of that. Like, great to see Toni back. Great reaction to her.
Big pop.
It's kind of funny that I believe in the preview episode for All In, I was saying that Toni's going to eventually come back with her old gear and her old theme music. I thought it was going to happen at All In London, but this makes even more sense. This was the logical next step for that character, because the Timeless Toni character was her going through a rut. It was her going through a depression and trying to work back into having enthusiasm for wrestling again. And the person that helped her get enthusiastic about wrestling again then turned on her, and that left her lost after this. And so her coming back and doing this reset is very, very funny to me. Her coming back and just acting like, what? Yeah, that stuff. What, that stuff? Wait, no. I'm all elite now. And so coming back and basically completely redoing the way she debuted with AEW on Wednesday. I thought that was great. And then if people didn't get it, coming on Rampage, because initially on Rampage, that used to be where all of the debuts went to have their first matches. That was kind of a way to introduce them to the crowd and eventually move them to Dynamite. I mean, if you remember, Rampage used to be the Adam Cole show. He used to open that show constantly. So I thought straight away with what they were doing on Dynamite, oh, I get the bit they're doing with Rampage. And for people that were saying, why aren't you putting her on Dynamite? Why aren't you featuring her heavily? She's on all 3 shows this week. She's going to be on Collision tonight, wrestling Shazza McKenzie. And this was also a hallmark of her first stint with AEW, where she was wrestling constantly, and she was putting on fire matches. So I feel like they're doing 2 things here. They're doing a bit with this character, and she's working her way back up to the title match, I'm assuming, by this Australia show in February. That's got to be the move, right? And because that was initially what I was confused about, because I said, all right, well, you're bringing her back kind of early if you're leading to the show in February. That's still 2 months away. But now, when I see what they're doing with the character, it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, because I initially was like, when a bunch of people before the show on Wednesday were like, oh, this is the time to bring Toni Storm back. And I was like, bringing her back to immediately get back in with Mariah probably wouldn't make a lot of sense because you don't want her to beat her. And I think we're building to the February show, and there's some time for that. But the fact that she's doing this and it's going to kind of take time for her to get acclimated and remember where she is. It's going to take time to build back into this. Makes a lot of sense. And yeah, the people that were like, why is she wrestling on Rampage? And why is she blah, blah, blah? I'm like, Toni Storm whole bit when she first was here and early in her career she was on every show. When she became AEW Women's Champion, there was a bit where she was on like 20 shows in a row or something. Yeah. Like she didn't miss any show for a while. She was just such a like workhorse. And they're going to kind of establish her back into that. They're having her work in Harley Cameron. They're having her work in Shazza. These people that have these connections. It's like, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it's very smart. 2 matches in a row. She's worked 2 Australian wrestlers. That has to be intentional.
Come on.
Has to be intentional. Of course, Toni is from Australia. You got to believe you're doing an Australian show. She's going to be fixtured heavily on that. I also have to assume that's why they've been booking Kyle Fletcher so strong. Kyle has got to have something big for that show. So this makes all the sense in the world to bring her back, work her way up to a women's title match by then. You also have the Thunder Rosa stuff happening as well at the same time. I'm not sure to make of the Thunder Rosa stuff, but if you also... somebody else, the other person that also may or may not have some connection to Toni from that time period is Thunder Rosa, because Toni Storm was champion while she was away, and Toni Storm made several points where she was like, no, I'm the champion. I'm not just the interim champion, I'm champion. And unfortunately, they did not make her the legitimate champion until after she had dropped the belt. And that hampered her first run with the belt, possibly led to some of what built to the timeless Toni Storm character. So there are connections with all the stuff they're doing. I did think some of the takes around her being on Rampage were a bit much. Mm-hmm. I get from a business point where some people were like, why are you putting her on Rampage? That doesn't make any sense. Why are you not, you bring her right back and you're putting her on this show. It didn't really bother me because I didn't think it was going to be, okay, we're putting her on Rampage and she's not going to be on Dynamite next week. I don't know why people acted like, oh, well, she's on Rampage, so you're just throwing her on Rampage.
She's a Rampage wrestler now. And it's like, no dude, it's just for today.
I didn't see it that way. But yeah, all this stuff on Rampage, I got a good laugh out of when she got ready to do her big hip attack and she raised her hands and she looked like she was about to do the timeless pose. And she was like, nope, horns, rocker, rock star. Oh, hilarious, man.
She's really good. That's what I was super excited about seeing where she went with this next thing. But if she's living in this like still pretty much delusional phase, I think that it's going to make for even more exciting stuff. Like she's going to be featured. She's going to get more time than other people. And I don't understand what the damn backlash was. So weird.
Yeah, I think if you're using Rampage as a way to build the character stuff, I get where they're going. If it was just put her on there to have a random match, I could see the criticism. But having seen Rampage and they're clearly doing something here, there's some kind of story they're telling, I think that this was a smart move, especially with what we said earlier, that Rampage is going away soon. Why not use it as kind of this clever tongue-in-cheek thing while you still have it? And like I said, you're building to the Collision match. You're doing like wink, wink humor with it. I think that this is cool. And I think also having her go back to being a workhorse of just having the matches, because that is one of the things that some people didn't like about her time as timeless Toni Storm, that it was a lot of character stuff.
It wasn't working as much.
It was a lot of promo stuff. And she got away from working the matches like she initially did. And so that was another reason why I was saying if she's going to turn babyface and all this stuff after the program with Mariah, it only makes sense for her to go back to her established character with the rock star bit, the backwards cap, the Barracuda inspired theme song. It's only a matter of time. So I like what they're doing with this. We'll see how it goes. The stuff with her in the match though, and her and Carly, perfect way to start this off. Harley yelling right in the camera, we'll be right back after this if this idiot remembers who she is.
Yeah, this is Toni's evolution has been so funny because I remember when she was the workhorse at that point, people were tired of her reign. They were like, we need somebody else. We need some new meat. Why is Toni Storm still the champion? And then so she like was at a down point. Then she started to do the timeless character, and everybody's like, she's the best character in wrestling. We want her to do this. We want her to be in these positions. And so then there was a little bit of a slump where people are like, we're kind of tired of the timeless Toni character. And so she made this whole thing with Mariah, one of the best stories of the damn year. And it's just keep being a roller coaster of emotion. Now she got people on another roller coaster of emotions, not knowing where her character is going, even though it's like kind of right there in her face, in your face.
Yes. I think the good thing about this too is the AEW has had moments where they'll have a big moment and they don't capitalize on it well. Like I think with Bryan's win, for example, I think the follow-up to him winning the title at All In wasn't good. I think you could have done so much more out of such a great moment. And there are other things like that. I mean, you can make the argument with Hangman's win at Full Gear that they could have probably capitalized on that and gave him a better reign. And with this, I like that they did have one of the best storylines of this year, and they had a match at one of the biggest shows in the year, and you're already starting to build to that going to another big show for you guys in Australia. So that's kind of good. I think that at least it seems like there's some direction for Toni after that, and it's not just, hey, they had this big moment, remember that thing, and then Toni just goes off and does something else.
Like they're still trying to tell stories with it. They're still connecting dots. Like we're probably going to get a rematch at this big Australia show. And like Toni needs it, deserves it. Mariah needs it and deserves it. It's good for the women's division.
Yes. And if you were just using this as a quick litmus test to see what Mariah May could do as champion, and you put the belt back on Toni, that wouldn't be a bad idea either, because you've given her a sizable reign from August getting all the way to February. And by the time you potentially put the belt back on Toni, you've got a lot of people for her to work. You got the Statlander match there. You've got Athena potentially coming up to the main roster. There's so much stuff you could do with Toni as champion in 2025.
It's exciting. It's going to be good. And if she's like working again, like about to get some heat.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was a good return. Some of the discourse around it was, of course, what I would expect, but I've tried to stay away from that on Blue Sky. I try not to respond to a lot of this stuff. I saw some of the stuff on Twitter and I was just thinking the whole time, like, nah, I'm good. I'm good on this. I've seen the discourse to some other things this week on Twitter, and just that place is just not for me.
Keep it all, brother.
Yeah. But these things are fun. The other thing that I thought was weird, people going, oh, why do they have her on Rampage? It'd be one thing if they just had her on Rampage in a throwaway segment, but it was a match. We got to see her wrestle straight away.
Mm-hmm. And a story they're telling with who she's wrestling, why she's wrestling. Like they're just building more.
Yeah. And we, before we move on, we did get the build up. It wasn't like this just came out of nowhere. She came back and she's acting like she doesn't remember any of the timeless stuff. That started while she was away. When she did that promo, when she did the Stardom match against Maya Iwatani, when Mina was backstage and saying, Mariah, she's like, Mariah, I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's been little hints going. I mean, the way she left Wembley Stadium after she lost, there's been hints, and I don't think anybody took the angle of, all right, she's retiring, but nobody believes that. Of course, we think that's a work, but I don't think anybody read it as, no, timeless Toni Storm is retiring. Toni Storm, the wrestler, is not retiring.
Yep. That's what it felt like to me from the whole thing. I was like, oh, she's going to come back as a different character, as a past character. And that's exactly what happened.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully this gives the women's division a boost. I think that this was a great year for women's wrestling in AEW. And there was a bit of a drop off after All In and All Out. we did get some good matches after that, but we just didn't get some of the focus on the women that we got earlier in the year. So hopefully this leads back to that to start the year.
Yeah, and I'm excited about like even the other championship. Like we got Anna Jay in the mix, like making some strides. Mercedes she had one of her best matches against Statlander, and just like all the stuff that they're kind of building to feels like they are trying to tell more stories and they are trying to establish both women's divisions. Of course, we could always have more, but it's in a good direction.
Yes. I did get excited that Stat was saying she wants a rematch. Definitely take a second match.
We all want that.
Yeah, I do think the second match leads me to believe that my vision for what they're doing with Mercedes is coming. I do think she is going to cheat in the second match. I do think that she is going to have new heaters by her side to help her win.
Yep. Can't wait.
Send us your super chats, of course. Get into some of those before we move forward. Can't read that one. From Leroy 40 says Athena versus Billy needs to be the main event of Final Battle. Yes, it does, because
it probably will be.
Why would that other match be the main event?
Oh, fuck. I forgot Chris Jericho's there.
Yeah, put the women on last.
Yeah, definitely. They've earned it. They've done this for so long. Like like they deserve this. Agreed. They've told this story for years.
Yeah. From Ten Ruza, he says the first Dynamite simulcast. Hope Athena is on it.
Potentially.
Yeah, I hope so. Because I do think she will drop the title to Billy. So hopefully they have a plan for her in 2025. And I think coming straight out of the International Women's Cup, she should be on Dynamite.
What's the date on that first Dynamite? Is it before or after the Japan stuff?
I think it's afterwards, because
it's after Kingdom, like Wrestle Kingdom and Dynasty.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom is always January 4th, and then Dynasty is the next day on January 5th. So the first Dynamite of the year is January 2nd. Is it?
Oh, okay.
Calendar time.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's going to play a role too. They're going to have to build more, or talk about the matches that are potentially about to go down. You know.
Yeah, it's on New Year's Day actually.
Oh, right.
January 1st.
So a few days before the big shows.
Yes. So yes, technically that makes even more sense of why she should be there, because if it's gonna be the go home show for the Wrestle Dynasty, so yeah, she should be on Dynamite.
Yep.
Got another one from Ten Ruza. He says Cardona seems a good fit for AEW ROH. Sign him. You trying to see Cardona over there?
I don't think he's going to win the match.
He's definitely not winning the match. Watching the gears turn of like, I don't know, guys.
I'm like, what should I say here?
I don't know, guys. No, I think
I like Matt Cardona and the work that he does as an independent wrestler, but I don't.
I think he could be a fit if ROH was its own thing.
Yes.
But like current ROH, I don't know about him over there.
Yeah, no, him being slotted into their taping on the back ends of Dynamite, I don't think that's a place for. I think he has a bigger place on the indies.
Yes.
In that role. But if ROH, like they're potentially talking about, gets a TV deal, establishes all these things, becomes a separate brand, I think Matt Cardona does have a place, and I think he would help the brand.
Yes.
So sign up for that.
Grapple Geekery says, I'm wearing a House of Black shirt as we speak. Yeah, man, House of Black is red hot right now. You got to do something with them guys.
They fire. They on their way.
From Shanika. Come on, put it on screen. From Shanika, happy Saturday, y'all. C2 has been cooking. Also, 22 days until Kenny Omega is back in a wrestling ring. Not that anyone is counting. Oh, I'm definitely counting because
definitely counting.
Kenny Omega.
We're ready to have him back so bad. It feels like there's been a void, and not just AEW, and all of wrestling, with like some guy who could potentially be one of the best ever. Like he's there and he's been hurt, and we've been feeling it. So we are definitely counting down to the days till he comes back.
Yes. From Leonard Aarons III, he says Okada left New Japan and refused to put over any youngsters. Okada, barely a full year in AEW, has put over DG and Kyle Fletcher. Listen, I don't know, man. He did some stuff before he left.
He did a couple things.
He did some stuff.
That's why everybody being like, "What's Okada gonna be doing with the New Japan stuff?" I'm like, I don't know if he gonna. I don't know if he gonna be involved like y'all think he gonna be involved in like this big crossover match. Like he's like, I'm Team AEW. I'm AEW now.
Yeah. We got a very generous super chat from Bobby Decibels. He says, "My wife and I started watching wrestling in 2020. We're in our 50s. Wow. Now we've been to two AEW shows. We never missed Dynamite, Grapsody, and the Cali Connection. She also has a crush on Phil. LOL." I said, "What's up?"
Tell her I said, "What's up?"
I said, "What's up?"
Listen, I'm usually the one that's with the over 50s, but this could be the time for Phil. That's usually my speed. I see you.
But no, I appreciate you. No, seriously, appreciate you. That's cool, man. Like, man, wrestling is so much fun when you ignore some of the negative stuff that people throw on wrestling, because this is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be going to shows, watching wrestling on TV, and right now it's so much good wrestling to enjoy, no matter what your preferences are, man. So that's dope.
Yeah, when you just sit down and the distractions and all the bits attached to it and watch the wrestling, it's so much fun. When it's just like, this is the thing that I've loved since I was a child, and it's being itself. Like, there's not a lot better. Like, I'm excited about the wrestling shows tonight. It's like when you just turn the TV on and there's no distractions, it's the best. On NBC.
Got more from Tim Ruza. He says JBL coming in and costing Hendry again versus Nemeth ? No, please don't do that. Please no.
They can't do this to Joe Hendry again. He has the match. He's wrestling Nick Nemeth. Give him this fucking belt, you guys. We're not playing anymore. Give him the belt.
Yeah, put the belt on this guy. For context, Joe Hendry is named #1 contender after the match last night. Just put this belt on him, man. It's time. Give him his moment.
Why are y'all playing? What is this? What he should been like champion for the last 3 months, but they're like pushing it. Okay, you pushed it. Now it's time to give this guy the belt.
Yeah, what a year for Joe Hendry, man. Way more popular than I ever expected coming out of that feud with AJ Francis, but that just shows how good that was, just how good he captured the moment with internet fans, and just how funny a lot of stuff he's been doing on television was. Those songs he were doing during the AJ Francis feud were incredible.
This guy really got himself over, man. He like essentially forced their hand at WWE to like, the fans were like, no, we want to see Joe Hendry for real. And like, they like forced his hand. He was one of the most over guys on all of their shows for a while.
Yeah. Tim Ruza asked, Shockwave announcement when, and Keith Lee coming back. Yeah, we haven't heard anything about Keith Lee in a while. I hope he's doing well. I don't know what the update on him is. I haven't seen any status updates on him anywhere.
Yeah, I hope that Keith is doing okay in wherever position he is. I don't know if he's in any rush to come back to wrestling at this point.
Hopefully he's doing well though. I don't. Also, we haven't gotten any announcement on the Shockwave thing. I have to assume something's coming soon with the news that Rampage is going away.
Should be pretty close, I think, but also I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. From Hey, what's over there? He says Reynolds and Silver's bit on Grizzled Young Vets are great. And did you guys think Ricochet? Do you think Ricochet joins the Hurt Syndicate after the match against Zack Sabre Jr. That would be cool to see Hurt Syndicate show up in Japan. I kind of think that it happens before then, though. I kind of think that it might happen at World's End, or it might happen at the end of the Continental Classic.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's gonna have something to do with how Ricochet finishes out the Continental Classic, and that's gonna be the real thing to get him over there with the Her Syndicate.
Yes, but I would love to see those guys in Japan, especially with
Connections.
Shelton and MVP's history in Japan. What you could potentially do with Bobby Lashley going to Japan as well. I think that would be fire.
Yeah, hopefully they have them involved in the Wrestle Dynasty card. Maybe we'll see some.
Yeah, that Grizzled Young Veterans impersonation was very funny, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. I thought it was them for a minute. I was like, damn, they do kind of look like me. At one point, Alex Reynolds was like, oh, James Drake is not as handsome as Alex Reynolds is. I'm like, they do kind of look alike, though. That's hella funny. Good bit.
Yeah, very good bit. That was very funny. We did have some New Japan stuff we'll get into. The World Tag League came to an end this week. Got winners. Still very confused about what's going to happen with the IWGP Heavyweight Championships going into this weekend because Hanare is injured. We don't know what they're going to do with the Young Bucks match on Wrestle Dynasty. But, routinely, the winner of the tag league goes on to challenge for those belts. And immediately when we got the announcement that the Bucks were going to challenge, I was like, okay, so how does the tag league fit into this? We found out in the finals. But yeah, very, very confusing in some ways. Of course, best wishes to Hanare. But I don't know what this means.
He had such a good year, and him getting the big match against the Bucks was gonna hit so hard. So unfortunate that the injury hit right now.
Yeah, but pretty straightforward undercard. Can't say that I think you missed a whole bunch if you skipped a lot of these undercard matches. Got a Tiger Mask match to open the show with some Young Lions. You got TMDK taking on Young Lions as well after that. Really, I think one of the highlights of this show was Bishamon taking on Natural Classics. Natural Classics were really the new faces coming into the tag league, and they looked the part. It looks like they got something in these guys. Hopefully see more of these guys moving forward. Was very impressed. They did take the loss here to Bishamon, but new kids on the block, so didn't expect them to beat a team as well-rounded as Bishamon.
As established. But that's been the good thing about this year in the rebuilding phase is they've been establishing a bunch of new wrestlers coming out of it.
Yeah, I would definitely look out for Natural Classics going forward. They look like an exciting team that you can do stuff with. We got just four guys, Doki, Taichi, Taka Michinoku taking on the United Empire. Again, just kind of like a undercard match with some implications for Wrestle Kingdom. Got Los Ingobernables de Japón taking on Bullet Club. Chase Owens, Gato, and Kenta were the iteration of Bullet Club you got. That kind of tells you about how much this match really mattered. The big WrestleMania. I mean, it does, because it doesn't feel like they have anything really built for those three guys going into Wrestle Kingdom. The real story coming out of this is you've got Shingo in a big match coming up, and you've got Yota Tsuji also in a big match. Shingo versus Takeshita is already one of the match I'm the most looking forward to for Wrestle Kingdom weekend.
I can't believe it. That's going to be so fucking good, because they're going to get time. Both these guys are going to be fucking fighting like they want to be the best wrestler in the world. That shit's going to be crazy.
Yes. And, Tsuji's got big matches coming up as well. He's got a match with Jack Perry that gets us into the Long Beach card. I'll pull that one up and go over it in a little bit, but those two guys will be taking on their opponents from that weekend. I guess the most story elements we got is from the House of Torture match. House of Torture took on Hantai. Yeah, it's pretty much what you expect. Tanahashi got his revenge a little bit with Evil. He started beating him down with a chair after the match, and that led to the announcement that He is putting his career on the line in this match with Evil in a lumberjack match. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I was not the biggest fan of Tanahashi going with an Evil match in one of his last Wrestle Kingdom matches before he retires. But see, the problem with this is you've already announced that.
You already announced that you're going to have a year's worth of retirement stuff.
Yeah, you've already announced that. So I don't believe that he's actually going to lose here to Evil. Maybe this is all a big swerve, and they made the announcement to make us think he's going to wrestle for another year, and this is it. But his last match being a lumberjack match against Evil, I don't know about all that, man.
That would be a pretty good swerve, Phil, of like he says he's going to work for another year, and then he tricks us. But the circumstances being an Evil lumberjack match, I'm like, that's probably not the way you want to send old Ace out of here, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. But that was one of the big developments from this show, that is the Wrestle Kingdom match coming up. We also got TMK, TMDK, Kosei Fujita, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre taking on Funky Sauce, Alex Zane, and Taguchi, along with Shota Umino. All of those people earlier this year, they're like, man, Shota ain't hitting. They're booing him here. Bro, that crowd was very excited to see Shota last night. Sorry, not last night. On the 8th. That's when the show took place. But him walking around, high-fiving everybody in this place, they were feeling Shota, man. I think just him showing more assertiveness and showing more confidence that's helped him. All of his interactions with Zach, it seems like they've got something. They're building something, because I was very, very skeptical about this being the main event this year for Wrestle Kingdom. But it seems like they have something with the chemistry here based off this match. There's a really funny bit at the end where Shota is coming down with these toy belts that the fans made for him, because just to show that some of the younger fans are behind him. They want to see him win the main belt. And so he's carrying them around basically to show, like, show that he has support from these fans and that he's going to do it. And Zach goes and picks him up at one point, like, this is it. And he like slaps him across the face with one of them. Very funny stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Shota. There was I saw him work a few times this year, and I was like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, there were some things that I thought he needed to improve on, but it seems like them putting stories behind him, them making him worth something, has worked for the fans, at least. You know what I mean? Like, we American fans might feel like some way, but them Japanese fans are fucking geared up for him.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have mixed results every time the machine gets behind somebody, and they're clearly behind Shota. Now, this main event for him is going to be a big sink or swim. It's going to show if he can. It's a lot of pressure to put him on him, but I also feel like you've got to. That was kind of my frustration with him in the G1 climax this year, is that if you're going to say that he's one of the three musketeers for this generation, you got to put him in the deep end and see what you have in him.
He has to prove it.
Yeah, the main event of Wrestle Kingdom is some very deep water, but we'll see how he performs.
Probably the deepest waters you can be in New Japan, the biggest show of the year. This shit has legacy like no other. There's going to be 60,000 people watching you after they just seen some of the craziest shit in their life. That's we'll see.
Big stage. So we'll see how he performs under the bright lights. I like Shota, so I want this guy to succeed, but I also don't think it's time to take that belt off of Zack Sabre. I want to see him. I want to see him defend that belt some more in 2025. So we'll see.
But those are also the stories that New Japan likes to tell, like a loss for Shota in a big moment, like that plays up to the future.
Yeah. The real entertaining thing about this match, other than the dynamic between Zack Sabre and Shota, was Funky Sauce. Of course, coming out of Tag League, they were one of the fun teams in the tournament this year. Taguchi will forever be entertaining. The length of time he's been with this company and doing these outlandish things, and all of it is funny. Coming out with Alex Zane, and Alex Zane has a very distinct look. He has like the long red fur coat that he wears with the matching red gear. He's got like the crazy mustache and everything. Taguchi coming out with a green version of this long fur coat and the green sunglasses. Very, very funny. Their tandem offense together they've been using throughout the tag league. Also very funny. Commentary also playing into this. At one point, they go to the separate corners. They've been doing this throughout the tag league, and they go do the hip check in the middle. And Chris Charlton says, "Man, it's time to eat some ass." Very entertaining stuff. Alex Zane, man, he is so incredibly entertaining. Great wrestler to watch as well. I'm so surprised he hasn't been signed by anybody. When you look at like what this guy can do in the ring, so like I said, very distinct look, very distinct in-ring style. Hopefully New Japan does more with him next year, but man, I can't believe nobody has signed him.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. He's pretty well-rounded. He does like almost everything. He could fly, he can mat wrestle, he can do strikes. He has the character. Like he has all the things that, like, how is he not in NXT? Like he feels like what they represent, he would be in there pretty heavily. But I'm excited to see, because you don't see a lot of people in his position get shots at New Japan like this, like an American fucking independent wrestler. You don't see them in high positions like this, and I think he's really excelling at it.
Yes. Dex is saying, wasn't he in WWE for a second?
He was.
If you remember, he got released, and coincidentally, the day he found out he was released, he was on 205 Live because he did a taped match. And so he's getting the news at home that he's released, but he's on TV.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That shit. It's weird. Yeah, I think it was just he was ahead of his time, but it just wasn't the right time, I think. Like they have such a different view and a different way that they move. Like now would be the time that he would make more sense.
Yes. But the main event, World Tag League Finals, Hiromu Takahashi, Tetsuya Naito took on Bullet Club War Dogs, Gabe Kidd, and Sonata. The story coming into this is Gabe Kidd had more than one tag partner get hurt, and then Sonata turned on just 5 guys, now just 4 guys, and joined the War Dogs out of nowhere. I think a lot of people were confused because this felt like it was very random, but it felt like to me they needed somebody to replace Jake Lee because Jake Lee came in as a big signing this year. He formed the Matt Bastards with Gabe Kidd that looked like the tag team to watch coming into this tournament. Unfortunately, Jake Lee got injured. And Sonata ended up being a good replacement. You see more and more how much more interesting he's been as a heel here. He's back to the blonde hair. He's back to having a scruff. He's got a little bit more of the swag that he had when he was in LIJ. I think this was a good move for him. Gabe Kidd has had a fantastic year. I thought these two worked incredibly well together. I thought that this was a good move. I was curious at one point, like, all right, I don't know, man. I do very much feel like Sonata needed something though, because what they were doing with him to start the year, it just wasn't working. Him as a baby face and just 5 guys, it just wasn't hitting. And I don't think it helped him that Yuya Uemura ended up getting more interesting than him. That kind of happened more than once for him, unfortunately, after he made this turn and joined just 5 guys. Ended up leaving LIJ, and then the guy that replaced him and Tsuji ended up being more interesting. And then same thing happened with Yuya here, where people are behind Yuya now. So he definitely needed a change of direction. And I think that this works for him.
I didn't think that, or I didn't know that being a tag wrestler was going to be the thing for Sonata, because I always thought, like, he has the look. I feel like the crowd, they were behind him and they want him to be like one of the big time main event of Wrestle Kingdom guys, but there's just something not connecting. Like it was another type of, like, the machine got behind him and they were telling everybody this is our next guy, but something wasn't connecting. I didn't know getting with Gabe Kidd and kind of getting into a different type of vibe was going to be the thing that does it, but I think it really worked out for him. He just needed something extra to push him over that edge, and Gabe's spirit and his energy is what did it.
Yeah. I just think he just needed something else.
Yeah.
What he was doing wasn't hidden.
And they have to put him in a big position due to what they did with him and having him main event and having him be the IWGP World Champion. They have to continue to push him in a spot that he deserves to be in, you know?
Yeah. But, I mean, of course, the story, not just Gabe Kidd needing a replacement, but what a replacement to get in Sonata, who's a 2-time World Tag League winner. That immediately gives you an advantage coming into the tournament and this match with Naito, who at this point has yet to win a World Tag League. You also had the story coming into this. They've been hinting at a potential singles match between Naito and Hiromu. And I was at one point very worried that Zack Sabre Jr. was not going to win the belt because Naito could potentially head to Wrestle Kingdom with the belt, and that was the way we were going to get to the Hiromu match. So when Zack Sabre did win, I was like, oh, maybe this isn't the year. Maybe we won't get that one-on-one match this year. They got me. New Japan swerved me. Very much did not expect the ending of this night. Naito and Hiromu picked up the win here. Very emotional win. Was not expecting to see Naito get as emotional as he did about winning. You never see him get emotional. And so for him to get emotional, that tells you this is a big moment. This is a great story that they've told with these two guys. I mean, this is spanning over a decade of these guys having a relationship together and him taking Hiromu under his wing. Hiromu being the guy that really was instrumental in picking up this win because he picked up the winning pin in the match. The fact that he got that over Sonata as well, and everything that Sonata has been working towards this year. Sonata's exit from LIJ. There are a lot of great dots that connect here. Really great story coming here. Very fun match. Great false finishes. But the baby faces picked up the win here. Heels tried to be too cute at some point. Tried to win with the moonsault instead of just taking the win when they had it. Sonata had the skull in at one point. Could have just went for the win. Tried to go for the moonsault. Then Gabe Kidd did the same thing. Gabe Kidd very uncharacteristically tried to go for a moonsault. Cost these guys the match. But what a moment for LIJ.
Yeah, that's it seems like a storytelling moment that they fans got rewarded for staying around for the story. So what do you think that means for, like you said, coming into this? The Young Bucks match was kind of canceled. The winner usually takes on the IWGP Tag Champions. What does this mean for that match?
I don't know. So we of course get the story development afterwards. That Naito is going to give Hiromu the shot at Wrestle Kingdom. It will be a one-on-one match between them. Very interesting to come out of this tournament where they both won as a tag team, and now they're going to be wrestling each other.
They can't coexist.
It turns out they can coexist, but this story of Hiromu wanting to earn this match against Naito has been going on for a while. Like this goes all the way back to Naito's win over Okada and Evil coming out and stealing his moment. That's not what was supposed to happen. Evil was not supposed to beat him for the championship. In a parallel universe, Naito got to do the LIJ roll call that night, and this led to Hiromu getting his match against him as champion, but we never got that. I don't know. I don't know what this means for the World Heavyweight Championship match at Wrestle Dynasty. I suppose we'll get some kind of announcement, but I am very excited for this one-on-one match at Wrestle Kingdom. I think this gives Naito a big match, and it seems like Hiromu has been teetering towards moving out of the junior division and moving up to a heavyweight, and so this could be that next step for him. You can see that, like Okada and Tanahashi and a lot of those big stars from that era, Naito is starting to wind it down. So I think this is a big moment for his friendship with Hiromu, potentially putting Hiromu over in a big way at Wrestle Kingdom. Could be that thing that catapults Hiromu forward.
It's good timing, good space for everyone, honestly. Do you think Naito, I mean, with the history and what him wanting to put Hiromu over, this feels like a time he'll really show up for Wrestle Kingdom, right?
Yes. I mean, he's had good matches this year. He's had to dodge some allegations of being washed, but he's had good matches this year.
They was on my guy's head top for a lot of the year though.
They was, especially after that Forbidden Door match, they was all over him. Unfortunately, he had to take a lot of flack for that match. But he's had some strong matches this year. I thought he was better than he's gotten credit for the G1 run, and I thought the Zack Sabre match was good as well. But yeah, that is our World Tag League card. Not much to write home about on this undercard, but the real story is the main event, Finals of the Tag League, building towards Wrestle Kingdom. Very much excited for both Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty, but also have a New Japan Strong show on Sunday in Long Beach.
LBC.
Man, this card looks incredible. Try and get it in front of me as we speak. Here we go. We got
packed card.
Yeah, we got Mac Vandegrift versus Zane J. That's on the kickoff show, I believe. Then we've got opening match Mina Shirakawa taking on Johnny Robbie. Also for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Championships, Grizzled Young Veterans will be taking on West Coast Wrecking Crew. Very excited for that match. I think that's going to be a fun one. We've got a Fatal 4-Way, Clark Connors taking on Kushida, Kosei Fushida, and TJP. That also sounds like heat. All of those guys in that match, like what a matchup. Very much excited for that one. You mentioned this one earlier. Leo Rush will be taking on Echizero. Very excited for that one as well. Leo is a lot of fun to watch, but putting him in a ring with a guy like Echizero, very interested to see how they're going to work together. Man, super excited for that match.
Yeah, that's a mix of some funny styles, some incredible styles. I want to see Leo on the mat with Echizero. I want to see what kind of vibe Echizero brings. That's like a really good match.
Yeah, I hear this guy, man. He was having some problems with this name before. Now he's on the show with Denise, and all of a sudden he's putting all this enunciation on it.
Just trying to get my shit off, you know? I could not pronounce that shit originally. That's so funny.
Then we've got the LIJ guys, Hiromu Takahashi and T-Time will be taking on Templario and Jacob Austin Young. Also,
that's gonna be some heat too. Shit.
Yeah, that very much looking forward to that one. We've got Ryohei Oiwa taking on Gabe Kidd. Oiwa's been a lot of fun to watch since he's come back. Can't wait for this one. Gabe Kidd, like I said earlier, has been an incredible year. Big match for him ahead of an even bigger match during Wrestle Kingdom weekend against Kenny Omega.
Wow.
So, of course, don't expect Gabe Kidd to lose here, but man, what a great matchup for both of these guys. I think that's going to be probably my sleeper of the night. I think that could end up being one of the best matches on this card.
Gabe be on some other shit when he gets to California for some reason. The energy he has here is top notch. So I'm really looking forward to that match. I don't know what's in when he drinks the California water. It's just he turns into a different demon.
We got the TMDK guys, Zack Sabre Jr., Bad Dude Tito, and Shane Haste taking on Shota Umino, Fred Rosser, and Tom Lawler in a 6-man tag match. Then, like I said earlier, we got Shingo Takagi, Yota Tsuji taking on the team of Konosuke Takeshita and Jack Perry.
Wow. So that's going to be main WrestleMania previews. That's going to be fire.
Yes. Big implications going into Wrestle Kingdom. Main event, New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Mercedes will be taking on Hazuki. This is the match I'm the most excited for. As a big fan of Hazuki, I kind of want Hazuki to win. I don't think it's going to happen, though. But, man, very excited for this match. The second I saw Hazuki, the number one contender, I was like, oh, we're up. That's the way we're ending the year. Very excited for that one.
Yeah, anytime Mercedes is in one of these with the fucking heavy hitter, that's going to be fast-paced. Get Mercedes into some shit we don't regularly see her in. Super excited about it. This is going to be the main event. Mercedes has this connection to New Japan Strong in California, Long Beach. Like, this has a lot of good implications. This match is going to be, it could be the best match of the night, honestly. Like there's so many matches on this card that could be this, but this one being the anchor and leading the way is going to be fire.
Yeah. I said I was going to try to find you guys the announcement for the Stardom tournament as well. Before we move on. Let's see. Got first rounds will be taking place on December 20th and December 21st. Block 1 will be Fukijin Death, Saida, Shuri, and Yagami in a fatal 4-way. Then in block 2, we're going to get Heinan, Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, and Yuna Mizumori. Then in block 3, we've got Konami taking on Aya Sakura, Hina, and Zuzu Suzuki. Very, very surprised seeing this now before I get into block 4 that Mina is not in this tournament. I just knew if anybody had a chance of being in this match, it would be Mina Shirakawa. But the final block will be Kaguma, Rina, Waka versus Tomoka Inaba, which, I mean, a lot of these women here, straight away, I want it to be Shuri. I've been saying I want Shuri to go on to the International Women's Cup, but again, very surprised Mina Shirakawa is not on here at all. I thought with her connection to AEW recently and, you know, her having all this exposure in the U.S., I thought that made the most sense for Stardom, but guess not.
I mean, I guess something, she could be stuck in America, not stuck in America, but doing bits in America. Sure, scheduling could be something. I don't really know. It seems like that was a perfect fit, but there got to be something else connected to it, you know?
Yeah. The finale for the tournament will be on December 22nd. Of course, the winner of this will move on to represent Stardom in the International Women's Cup at Wrestle Dynasty. Looking forward to that matchup now that we know Athena's in there. Very excited that Athena's getting to go to Japan. She said well into her run with AEW that was something she wanted to do. Getting to represent Ring of Honor after the run she's had with Ring of Honor, I think that's a great way to cap that off. And my prediction is still Willow from AEW. Do we have the announcement from CMLL yet, or has that match happened yet?
I think it potentially, the 13th it was supposed. Yeah, I think it might have happened yesterday.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen anything yet. I assume that they'll announce it soon, but I have not seen anything for that yet.
Right? Because I think that last night at CMLL, they had like a CMLL versus AEW mini type of deal. Pac was out there, Claudio.
Yeah. They're saying in the chat that it has happened already. I just haven't seen it yet. But yeah, my pick that I want to come from Stardom is Shuri. I think Momo Watanabe would be a good pick as well. There's a few women. I think they have some good options. But again, very surprised Mina Shirakawa is not in this tournament.
They probably just didn't want her to, you know, because I don't think the Stardom representation is going to win, maybe. So they didn't want Mina to be in that position with her just going to Mariah
maybe.
and stuff. I don't know.
Maybe so. Yeah, I'm seeing in the chat that it was Persephone that won for CMLL. So
gotcha.
far it is Athena and Persephone.
Shout out to Persephone.
But yeah, still exciting time for New Japan. Wrestle Kingdom is coming up. Very strong New Japan strong card on Sunday to round out a very busy week of wrestling.
It's so much. I thought that tonight was a lot of wrestling, and then the New Japan show tomorrow too. So yeah, if you are looking for some great wrestling to watch, you got a lot of it. That Mercedes' main event tomorrow, like I gotta watch that.
I think we have a handful of super chats left. And then we're going to get into this card for Super Saturday night main event. I read that one. Here we go. Hey, from Hey, what's over there? He says, if they don't have anything for Kenta, the Shibata match is right there. Just saying. I don't think New Japan is that poised to have Shibata wrestle. I think that's part of the reason he left and went to AEW.
Like we're seeing Shibata matches in AEW because they weren't trying to let him have Shibata matches in New Japan. I think that was the whole thing. There was a behind the scenes thing. So I wouldn't expect Shibata to be at that Wrestle Kingdom show. I mean, crazier things have happened.
Yeah, I think they missed the boat. I think that they should have capitalized on that match a long time ago. It kind of feels like it's too late now.
Yep.
But I could be wrong. We could get that match out of nowhere, and I don't know. Like you said, crazier things have happened, so I don't know. But it does feel like they were not as gung-ho about having him in a wrestling ring. So we'll see. From Tim Bruza, he says, Sheldon IWGP Global Champion sounds fun. MVP as never. Bro, Sheldon in Japan in general just having matches. Even if you're not putting a belt on him, I just want him over there wrestling.
Yeah, I want to see him against a couple of them young lions over there. I think there's a lot he can do.
Yes. Got another one from Tim Bruza. He says, I've seen Natural Classics here in Melbourne. They are insane. They'll get signed. MCW has a lot of talent about to go global. We do well here in Australia. Yeah, I was very impressed with what I've seen of Natural Classics so far. So hopefully we see more of them.
Seems like they had a good run out there.
Yeah. Simeon is pointing out as well that Kenta does have the match coming up with Kino for the Noah show coming up on.
Oh, right.
But he just doesn't have anything announced for Wrestle Kingdom, but he's got the Noah match coming up.
Kenta back in Noah. That's
Definitely is something. I don't think we have any more Harper chats before we move forward, but I will double check. Here we go. From Javier from Texas, he says, do y'all have a favorite piece of wrestling memorabilia you own? Mine is WWF Aggression album on vinyl.
Oh, damn. You know, they have that.
Me neither.
Wrestling memorabilia that I own. I can't think. I think I might have threw it all out.
Yeah, I have a signed picture of Lita somewhere. Big Lita fan growing up. I have that. I'm sure I have a Punk picture signed somewhere. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have some signed Bryan Danielson pictures from when I went to a signing in Fresno one time. That's probably that. I should probably find those.
Yeah. Sorry, we're not belt collectors like a certain other guy that was here. He's got a ton of wrestling memorabilia in his house.
So much. Going down, seeing that with my own eyes, I was like, damn, there's a lot of stuff down here.
Yeah.
I ain't got shit.
That's all of our Humper chats for now. Appreciate you guys as always. Last call for super chats and Humper chats before we get up out of here. But yeah, let's get into this Saturday night main event card.
Tonight is back. NBC. They already announced another one, which is crazy. But I think that you saw the they redid the Winged Eagle belt for this. It's like a one-time only thing for tonight. Looks pretty dope.
I haven't seen that. I know that they opened the briefcase, and I don't know if we got the reveal of it.
I saw a picture of it. Should look hard.
I haven't seen it. So, but yeah, they did tease that for one night only. They are going retro with Saturday night main event. Jesse the Body Ventura will be on commentary. So, real retro vibe. CM Punk has teased that he may be on commentary tonight as well, which could play into the Gunther match. Don't know, but
interesting.
Yeah, this is an interesting move for WWE getting back into Saturday Night Wrestling and getting into a prime time spot with NBC. Got basketball and all these other things going on currently. It's a big move, and like you said, they do have another one coming up in January. Curious to see how often they do these moving forward. I think that they had an announcement. Well, wasn't really an announcement. I think Jesse Ventura let it slip how often they were doing them, but I don't know if that's real or not. But yeah, tonight, Uniondale, New York, at the Nassau Coliseum, iconic place for wrestling. WWE will be returning to NBC, 2-hour event. Pretty good card so far. I mean, 5 matches. That seems like that's their stilo at the moment. 5 quick matches. Got Michin taking on Chelsea Green, tournament final for the WWE Women's United States Championship. I think this was the right move to go back to this feud since it was a big feud earlier on SmackDown. If you're going to make this the mid-card title moving forward, these are 2 women that should be fixtures in that division. So, excited to see this. I think both of these women would make a lot of sense, but it kind of feels like Chelsea Green's match to win, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like with how they've been building what she's done this year and her placement on the card, feels like Chelsea's the win. Michin has had some great wins. She's established herself. I think the fans are behind her, and she has a dog in this fight. Either one of them, I think, would be a great addition. But it feels like Chelsea to me if I were to pick one of them.
Yeah. Out of both matches last night, we got some story elements with Tiffany Stratton losing to Mia Yim. Got some more teases that Tiffany Stratton could be turning babyface soon. I don't know how I feel about that. I think Stratton kind of works better as a heel, but it does kind of feel inevitable at this point with the way that they're building the story with Nia, the reactions she's getting.
And the way that she works, her whole thing, it feels like a babyface act, but I feel like she's so good at playing a heel that I'm kind of at a crossroads, but she's getting into inevitable super over babyface territory.
Yes. And I mean, from the start of the year, you saw that. At the Perth show, got that great reaction. She's been getting those kind of reactions all year. It just seems like it's only a matter of time. But I think Chelsea should pick up the win here. Chelsea has been fantastic since she's come back to WWE. She's been deserving a moment like this. So it feels like her moment.
Before we move any forward, did you see the GCW? There's a rumor that GCW asked WWE for Hammerstein if they could borrow Chelsea Green to join her husband against Joey Janela and Megan Bayne, and WWE said no.
I did see that. I don't know how much I actually believe that though. That feels
like your homie
Ibu
came out and said that wasn't true, any of it, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things that got tossed around, and I don't know if they actually ever really pitched it to WWE. Now, I don't know anything. I have no proof of that, but just the way it sounds, I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe that.
Only reason I kind of believed it could have happened because I've watched a few GCW shows, and Matt Cardona is like, most of the time he's like, my wife Chelsea Green, like he makes an effort to make her a part of this, and they chant for Chelsea, and they all that. Like they could have somebody could have been like, hey, we could do this match, and that just stayed in the GCW locker room and it got to us. So I don't know how far it went, and also I don't know anything, but like just knowing and watching GCW, knowing their storylines, like I'm sure somebody at least talked about doing that.
Yes, and he, Chelsea was a big part of his act at one point on the Indies before she went back to WWE. So I can see why people would think that they want that, but I just don't see it. After
saying like, oh, she's in a big match for the new Creative Championship on their retro Saturday Night Main Event, they ain't gonna send her no fucking GCW. What do you think? What are you guys thinking?
I just don't see it. Apparently, I'm seeing in the chat that Janela denied it as well, and something about it didn't sound plausible to me. I just didn't believe it. But we also got for the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan will be defending her title against Io Sky. Based off of the stuff from Raw this week and Survivor Series, very much feels like Io Sky is not going to win here. And we're going to go back to Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan yet again. I want Io Sky to win here. And like I was saying earlier, with that teaser at the end of Raw, I feel like Rhea versus Io is the WrestleMania match. If we're going into WrestleMania still doing Liv matches with Rhea, I think we are making a big mistake. Yeah, I think Io should win here. But
if we're gonna have Charlotte and Becky and Bianca and all these people, and it's still Rhea and Liv, they are making a huge, gigantic mistake. They've been building this for so long. Like, No, and that, like you said, that face off and Rhea and fans are still so into Rhea, and EO has been coming up like, give us what we want, but I could totally see them not.
Yeah. EO's been having a great run since she's kind of turned babyface this year. And you can see fans are getting more and more behind her. She feels like an obvious choice going into WrestleMania for that match. Clearly, I think is probably a favorite to win the Rumble as well. So, yeah, put the belt back on Rhea. Also, this weekend, getting Rhea wrestling again. It's like, bro, look, I get y'all have squeezed as much out of this storyline as you can.
They did it, Phil.
It's time to move on, man. It really is.
They squeezed all the juice out of it. It's gone. Like that lemon is out. They did it. They stretched it. Multiple shows, pay-per-views, and everything. It's time to move forward, I think, for both the sake of both of them, not just for Rhea. Like Liv needs something new too.
Yes, I'm very much ready for both of these wrestlers to do something else. And
because it's so exciting, like when Liv and Raquel were over on SmackDown doing something else, it felt new, it felt refreshing, it felt like something that we need.
Yeah, it's just time. Liv has had a pretty good year, and I just think if you're gonna see what you have in her as a heel, you've got to let her work other wrestlers, man.
Could we see it?
It's just time, man. Like, I just think the fact that she hasn't defended that belt much, and even when you look at what they've done with Rhea this year since she's come back with injury, just move on, man. It's time.
Right.
It's time. Just move on. We got Gunther taking on Finn Balor and Damian Priest. That's, of course, after the opening segment of Raw this week that got changed to a triple threat match. This seems like, unfortunately, the way for Finn Balor to eat this pin here. And Damian Priest potentially is going to get a rematch against Gunther at some point. Yeah. But I don't see Finn Balor winning this match, and I certainly do not see Gunther losing his belt here.
No, this gets Finn and Damian to cancel each other out, and Gunther goes over. It's a good way so he doesn't have to beat either one of them in a singles match, because we saw in the last singles match that they don't want him to go over clean over Damian, and it doesn't feel like they want him to go over clean on Finn either. So this is the best way to kind of kill two birds with one stone. But it's exciting to see Finn in the world title picture, and I'm expecting we get some heat out of this at least, right? You know?
Yes. Yeah, I feel like two things are going to happen here potentially. Either we're going to get a rematch between Gunther and Damian Priest, or Finn Balor costs Damian this match, and that keeps their feud going moving forward.
Right.
So either way, not thrilled that we're going back to Damian and Finn either, but what are you going to do?
Everybody in Judgment Day and surrounding needs new for everybody.
Yeah, we did get the announcement that Finn and JD are going to defend their tag titles on Raw next week against the War Raiders. So we shall see. I do think after that segment with New Day, might have to put the belts on them guys. They got something in that segment. We knew that after the 10-year anniversary segment, but ooh, man, the way they got booed on Monday, that was incredible. Always good to see when an angle works and you actually get legitimate heat out of it. That was very good. They couldn't even get a word out. Great stuff.
Yeah, exciting stuff to know that if you just invest and give them time, this is what you can get. And them going extra into the heel personas too, it's great. Yeah, they're going to have to a New Day can't be ignored for a long time, honestly.
Yeah. Hopefully they have something, because to me, they've had one of the better storylines on Raw this year. They should be moving into something for WrestleMania season for these guys. If you do all of that and get this great storyline and they have nothing planned for WrestleMania season, I think you've done them a massive disservice. We got Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre will be taking on Sami Zayn. This was a last-minute addition to the card. The report is this was supposed to be Bronson Reed taking on Seth Rollins, but unfortunately Bronson got injured in the War Games match, so they need a replacement. That's also what sped up Drew McIntyre's return to Raw, but I think it ended up working out for them. I would have liked to see the Bronson Rollins match as well, but Drew is just such a great character. I'm very glad he's back. They've used him in an impactful way. coming straight away and attacking Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, having a great promo this week on Raw, and then attacking Jey Uso on SmackDown last night. I laughed very hard at Jimmy cutting this great promo and talking about what the future is for him. He's walking around on his crutch, and he looks like he's getting ready to turn around and walk up out of there, turns around, catches a Claymore straight to the face, and he's rolling around on the ground. Before he even has time to react, Drew is on top of him, punching him. Love it.
Yeah, I think the Seth and Bronson blow-off feud match would have been great in this position, but it was time for Drew Mac to come back. I think you need to establish him moving into this WrestleMania season, get him a big storyline going into this, and just having a big, mean, angry heel is needed at this position. That at this moment, I think it was a perfect timing for them to come back. This is one of those matches like you should have on this card too, of like we're doing this retro thing to kind of the fans are behind them, whether good or bad. I think it's going to be a good place in the card.
Yeah,
with Drew Mac winning, of course.
Yeah, curious to see if Kevin Owens and Sammy cross paths tonight at any point, because they have very noticeably stayed away from that. Kevin Owens drew attention to it in his car interview with Michael Cole.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but we shall see.
Exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, very excited for them potentially going back to that during WrestleMania season this year. Those are two guys. I don't care how long you put them in a ring, how much you see them fight. I will sign up for it every time.
Every time, forever. If they like, just for the rest of your careers, you guys are only going to wrestle each other at WrestleMania. I'm in every time.
Yeah, gotta be careful though. Monkey paw of the company, we could end up getting way more matches than we need. So might need to knock on wood with that one.
They will make me eat my words. They like doing that.
They definitely will make you eat your words. The main event, Cody Rhodes will be taking on Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Championship. I have many thoughts coming into this. I still think this should have been on Survivor Series, and
yes,
I think in some way Survivor Series, it wasn't a bad show, but I do think that it suffered in some ways by not having the main championship on the card and not having Cody
it was
Rhodes
missing
on the card.
this.
Yes. And I think you had the opportunity to give Kevin Owens the win in Canada. I mean, because you could easily go back to this, do some rematches, put the belt back on Cody before WrestleMania. So
fat. They could have been having the rematch right here at this show on Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. But, nevertheless, this is where we are. I do think by far this is Cody's best rivalry of his time as champion. I think they've gotten a lot of good story elements out of this. They've, of course, used some inside baseball. They've had some jabs at each other. I think all of this is great. The stuff last night, Kevin Owens is, again, one of my favorite wrestlers, one of my favorite characters in wrestling all around. Him cutting that promo last night of like, man, I liked you better at Stardust. And then I realized after he said all that stuff that he's wearing a Stardust shirt. What a guy.
Yeah, him walking into this and like being like, no, I'm right in all of this though. Like, I don't care. Like, no matter what you guys try to tell me, no matter how much you try to gaslight me, I'm the right one. And him just locking into that has been amazing. Is there a chance, Philip Lindsey, in the world that the homie Kevin Owens pulls out a quick one, a fast one, before our eyes tonight on Saturday night's main event?
I don't think so. I kind of would like a upset just to see Kevin Owens.
It'd be so
win.
Great.
Just to see him as world champion again. And just like the spoiler of him potentially bringing back the wing belt and Kevin Owens walking away with that belt.
Yeah.
I would love that, but I just don't see it. I
can't see it.
I think there was a better chance of it happening if the match was in Canada, but I don't know. And maybe we're supposed to think that. Maybe we're supposed to think all of this stuff because we're going to get the actual swerve of the night. But when I think about what this show means, them going back to prime time and what they want Cody to represent for this company, I can't see him taking a loss here and building.
This is definitely a Cody must pose type of situation. At the end of the show, he's standing in the ring, fucking fireworks are shooting off and American flags are shit. This feels like this is set up for a big Cody ending, you know?
Yeah. Do you think we get anything afterwards? If Cody retains here, do we get a return after this?
From whom? Dwayne?
I don't think that it will be Dwayne, but I do think it would be very interesting if we end the night with Orton coming back.
Mm-hmm.
If we haven't seen Orton, we haven't heard anything about Orton. Orton showing up at the end would be a good one. Might hear Wabadoo.
I could see that too. Yeah, but I think they might be saving that for Netflix.
Yeah, John Cena showing up here, primetime wrestling, potentially teasing something coming forward. Either
that
for
might
Netflix.
Make more sense, honestly. You saying that? Yeah, John Cena on NBC.
Yeah, and you're setting up for next year being his last WrestleMania, his retirement tour coming up. Kicking that off with Saturday Night Main Event, I think makes a lot of sense. I think we could potentially see either Orton or John Cena tonight.
I think we might see both of them, honestly, because Cena could potentially get the Royal Rumble match. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they have planned for Cody at WrestleMania, but I feel like Cena's going to be in the mix there somehow. Yeah, I think we're going to see Cena tonight. That makes sense. Like, Cena on NBC is just like, yeah, why wouldn't you put him on there? Come on.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some people say we could see Charlotte Flair. I don't know how Charlotte could factor in, but if you do want to bring her back in a big way on primetime television and start her road to WrestleMania, that also makes a lot of sense. But I kind of feel like you got to start building to what Cody's WrestleMania opponent is going to be soon. And if it's not going to be The Rock, you got to start building.
It got to be somebody else.
We are seeing more and more of these reports that Rock may not be at WrestleMania or that he is not factored into the plans. And so the fact that we're seeing that makes me feel like there might be something over there. Like, guys, temper your expectations. Might not see this guy.
Like, what are y'all WrestleMania plans? I'm in them. You might want to change that. I don't know if I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
but yeah, Cena and Orton tonight. But Cody's gonna retain, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I really kind of want to see Kevin Owens win, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see it.
Because you could get it right off of them. Like, you could get, like, they could have a rematch at Royal Rumble and Cody gets it right back. Like, we've seen this before in WWE, this type of situation, but I just don't know if they will.
Yeah, because I mean,
like, a lot of the promotion is like Cody Rhodes is going to be here, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of why I just don't see it. And I do think that this show could use a title change. It could use a big moment, but you're crowning the first United States champion for the women as well. I don't see it. I just don't.
You need a big, memorable moment, but if you have some returns, I think it'll work out. In WWE, you know how they do with moments. They probably got it all figured out.
Yeah, I know. Look, I could be wrong. Kevin Owens could be
very wrong.
Walking out of this show tonight as the new undisputed WWE champion, but I don't know if I believe it.
That would be awesome, though. I would be hyped.
With the Winged Eagle, him playing spoiler, I think that would be a great moment for Kevin Owens.
It's a great story.
Yeah, but either way, Saturday Night Main Event coming to you live
tonight,
both on NBC and streaming on Peacock. Like I said earlier, there will be a watch along on this very YouTube channel. If you want to support all of the great content creators and podcasters on this channel, it's a great way to support and I guess spread some Christmas cheer. I guess
I need some. Come spread some to us.
I need some. It's funny. I think we read all of our super chats, but let me just double check before we get up out of here.
Mm-hmm. What time does basketball start?
Just Ricardo, he said, there's a game in about 30 minutes.
Oh, sweet.
From just Ricardo, he says, Chelsea for champion, Michin chases. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Either one of those getting the win is going to be a reward for them and the fans. So that's going to be a good match.
Yep. that's all of our super chats. Appreciate you guys as always. Just double checking to see if we have any humper chats.
We potentially got another super chat, I think.
Okay. See, we got one from Javier. He says, salty as hell that they took winners coming from Dallas and gave it to Kansas City of all places. Would have been perfect timing with the All In on sale. If they can go to Chicago every 2 weeks, they can come to Dallas more than once a year. No shade, Phil. I ain't shot at me. I don't plan their calendar, man. I just be benefiting sometimes.
That's a fact.
We do have one more super chat from Tim Bruzo.
Mm-hmm.
He says, need Snoop appearance New Japan at Long Beach would be wild. Hope New Japan face IWGP women's title. Gotta have a couple matches at Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty. Yeah, I think it's a great story what they're doing with Mayu Iwatani coming into this year. Her finally getting to defend that belt at Tokyo Dome after the year she's had with that belt. But it's still a tricky situation because you've now established the belt to put on these New Japan Strong shows. So you're not going to use that belt here. I just think you've got to do more to highlight them on New Japan pay-per-views.
Yeah, it feels like they're doing the work, but on the New Japan shows where they would mean the most, it doesn't feel like they're represented as much as they should. But I think they're totally continuously working on it.
Yeah, hopefully the International Women's Cup and this big match with Mayu and Asumi is a good sign that they are going to do more things with the women moving forward. Hopefully we get another historic crossover in 2025, but because there's so much potential to do stuff with Stardom and New Japan. They've got synergy there. Like I said, hopefully this is a sign that they're going in that direction more.
Right.
But there's all of our humper chats, all of our super chats. Appreciate you guys for all the support. As always, like I said, appreciate all the people that bought some merch this week. Again, if you want to check out our merch, grapsody.bigcartel.com. Got anything else to plug coming up this weekend or next week?
Nope.
No, I don't think we do. But appreciate you guys as always. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Righteous Reg. We're out of here.
Peace.